CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Their moves so far have been sure, steady, and successful, and now they are one step from the game's ultimate contest. As the season progressed, patterns emerged, strengths were discovered, and the team's identities formed. Bill Parcells once again has shown the skill of a craftsman by resurrecting a journeyman quarterback in the crusade for excellence. And the coach, known for his control, knew to let loose the gifts of his most explosive weapon.
Touchdown, New York Jets. Keyshawn Johnson.
And he knew that a strong ground attack controlled the game.
Touchdown, Curtis Martin of the New York Jets.
Denver head coach Mike Shanahan counters with a legendary quarterback, passing into history in what could be his final home game. And the powerful efficiency of the league's leading rusher and its MVP.
He's gone. Davis. Touchdown, Denver.
The strength and artistry of a volatile tight end.
Touchdown, Shannon Sharp.
The Grandmasters know the pieces they have and what moves they can make. Their two teams know how far they've come. Now they're about to find out how far they can go. The New York Jets, the Denver Broncos, the AFC Championship game. Next. Welcome to a city and to a stadium that loves its Broncos. It is where the AFC crown will be won today, and it will go to either the upstart New York Jets or to the defending Super Bowl champion Denver Broncos. Hi everyone, welcome to Mile High Stadium. Along with my partner Phil Simms, I'm Greg Gumbel. This promises to be an emotional and historic day today, not just because a Super Bowl berth is at stake, but because it figures to be John Elway's last go-round here at Mile High Stadium. And after so many years of watching so many great performances, it's kind of a strange thing to contemplate.
It is strange, Greg. It's been a lot of fun watching. In my opinion, John Elway is physically the most gifted quarterback to ever play in the National Football League. He can run, throw, and he's tough. But the last few years, he's been helped out by a really special player, Terrell Davis, the most valuable player in the National Football League this year and the best player in the National Football League.
Well, the hopes of the New York Jets ride on the right arm of Vinny Testaverde, and all he has been described as a journeyman quarterback, but he has become much more than that this year, the best passer in the AFC.
I'll just say this about Vinny Testaverde. 13-1 as a starter. He has played 14 straight consistent games as a quarterback. My thing is, will Vinny Testaverde change today? I don't think so.
It promises to be a big day, a piece of the Super Bowl championship puzzle to be decided here today, and one more mile-high battle to be fought by that man. The AFC Championship kickoff right after this.
The American General Financial Group, Live the Life You've Imagined, presents A Season to Remember.
This is what you work all off season for.
Touchdown to Curtis Martin.
Back goes Cunningham, Coxon fires, touchdown!
Touchdown, Eddie McCaffrey.
Can't ask for much more excitement than that.
Davis to the end zone. Touchdown, Denver. No, he dives into the end zone. It is unbelievable.
For over 70 years, our business has been helping generations of...
A look at the weather conditions for today's AFC Championship game. The temperature is 40, gusting winds down on the field. It is clear and sunny, but it is windy. The flags have been swirling since we arrived at Mile High Stadium today. The Jets have won the toss. They will receive, and they'll be moving left to right on your screen. Kevin Williams, 23, Dave Meggett, 22, are deep for the kick from Jason Elam, and we're underway. At the 3, it's Meggett. Dragged down at the 15-yard line. Tito Paul, number 28, made the tackle. Vinny Testaverde, journeyman quarterback through 11 seasons, but this 12th finds Vinny in the AFC Championship game with the season's best passer rating in the AFC. Up front, the offensive line of Elliott, Berger, Malai, O'Dwyer, and the rookie Fabini has started every game for the Jets this year. Veteran Keith Byers, 1,000-yard rusher Curtis Martin in the backfield, outstanding wide receivers in Keyshawn Johnson and Wayne Corbett, and the tight end is Kyle Brady. Testaverde throwing on first down, has his man out to the 25-yard line. That is Wayne Corbett. A pickup of 11 and the first down. The Denver defense looks like this. A front four of Harold Hasselbeck, Keith Traylor, Trevor Price, Ma'a Tanavasa. Mobley, Kadrez, and Romanowski are Denver's leading tacklers in that order. They start at linebacker Crockett and Gordon. The cornerbacks Atwater and Braxton with a combined 22 years of experience at safety. From the 26, Testaverde to throw again. Corbett again. And again, first down yardage for the New York Jets. In overtime at the Metrodome, the Atlanta Falcons have qualified for their first ever appearance in the Super Bowl, 30-27 winners over the Minnesota Vikings. Congratulations to Dan Reeves and company.
That's right. Been there many times before. Gets one more chance. But you saw today the first couple plays for the New York Jets. Their offense is going to throw the football to set up the run.
Curtis Martin, Keith Byers in the backfield. Corbett in motion. The pitch for Martin. Fails to cut it upfield. Tyrone Braxton coming up from the safety position. Let's check in downstairs with Armin Katayan. Armin.
Greg, you mentioned this win. One word for it, vicious. This is as bad as I've seen it all year long. Rick Dennison, special teams coach, said it's as bad as he's seen it all year long, particularly this early in the game. It's particularly bad on the Jets sideline. Back to you.
All right, Armin, thank you.
It's not even messing Armin's hair up, though. That is some good TV hair you got down there. The wind didn't even move it.
That's why he's Armin Katayan.
That's it.
2nd and 11.
Now, Greg,
the middle is Curtis Martin for a couple.
I'm sorry. One of the reasons why the Jets want to come out and throw is, one, they think they can throw on this Denver defense, but the biggest reason of all is Denver's defensive line is active, it's fast, it stunts, it's hard to run the football on them. The Jets like to do a lot of pulling and trapping with their offensive line. It's hard to do that when defensive linemen are moving.
Greg Robinson, defensive coordinator, looking at a 3rd and 6. Dave Meggett has come in and is flanked as a wide receiver to the top of your screen. You see the CBS first down line near midfield. Testaverde time down the middle has Corbett to the 30, inside the 30 to the Denver 27-yard line.
Well, that's a good read by Vinny Testaverde. The 5 wide receivers, the Broncos, they do it themselves, so that you know this defense has seen it, but the weakness of it is down the middle. Look at Wayne Corbett, nobody around him, makes the catch, and the win so far. Vinny Testaverde has thrown the ball perfectly, spinning the ball, good spirals. That's how you throw the ball with accuracy in the win.
Testaverde 3 of 3 and all 3 completions to Wayne Corbett. Martin back in the game in the backfield, and he gets the pitch.
You know, last night we had a chance to talk to the New York Jets, the coaches. Wayne Corbett came in. What did he say to us? He was kind of giving us a little crying act. Oh, we don't have any plays for me. I don't think I'm going to get to catch it. They don't design them for me anymore, and you just never know. And I believe him. All week, he probably didn't see a lot of catches in practice, but you don't know how a defense is going to react to you. Always be prepared. He has been.
Jets coaches and players promising us that the Jets would be aggressive on offense today. They have been that so far. The screen for Martin, and that's cut down before it can gain much yardage. Tanavasa and Steve Atwater, number 27. Let's check in downstairs with Bonnie Bernstein. Bonnie?
All right, Greg, you know how everybody talks about how loud Mile High is and how disruptive it is, and it makes opponents tough to make the call. One thing the Jets have going for him, Vinny Testaverde told me when he was in Baltimore, he would audible 60% of the time. They hardly ever do it in New York.
Thank you, Bonnie.
That's a good point. The crowd noise, the Jets do not audibilize. Vinny Testaverde said, I will go on basically the same count all day long to get my offensive linemen in a rhythm so the crowd can't be a factor.
Prevent in motion on 3rd and 9. Play action. Testaverde with time, throws, fires across the 25, but that's well short of the first down. Mobley and Cadrez were there to meet him.
And another guy, number 27, Steve Atwater, on the defense. The play before, he stopped a screen play with his tackle that could have been a touchdown. This time, nobody opened down the field. Testaverde throws it. Good tackle by Glenn Cadrez.
This will be a 42-yard field goal attempt by John Hall. John Kidd will hold. And that will sail to the right. The gusty wind claims its first victim of the day, and when we come back, John Elway will take the field.
The field goal tip by John Hall. The wind is blowing that way. Here goes the kick. And as soon as this ball goes off his foot, it is no good. You can tell it's going to go right.
That's exactly what was happening to John Hall in his pregame practices. Every single kick ended up in the right corner of the end zone. He learned nothing from it.
Well, you kept pointing it out to me. I said, well, Greg, he's going to learn before the game starts.
John Elway and the Broncos begin at their own 31-yard line. Davis across the 35 to about the 36. Here's a look at the Broncos offense. Tony Jones, Schlereth, Nalen, Dan Neal, Harry Swain. NFL MVP Terrell Davis and Howard Griffith in the backfield. McCaffrey and Rod Smith, the wide receivers. Shannon Sharp is the tight end.
You know, big man.
Mike Shanahan looking for a second straight Super Bowl championship here in Denver. On 2nd and 5, Elway has the ball. Throwing long for McCaffrey, incomplete. A look at the Jet defense. 5th best in the AFC, 7th best in the NFL this season. Lyle, Ferguson, Logan Pleasant up front. Pro Bowler Mo Lewis leads the linebacker unit that includes veterans Pepper Johnson and Brian Cox. In the secondary, Ray Mickens and Otis Smith are the corners. Victor Green and Corwin Brown are the safeties.
The New York Jets were ready for that long pass. Bill Belichick, the defensive coordinator, he says they always start the game with a long pass down the middle somewhere early to Ed McCaffrey.
Elway and the Broncos now spread the defense with 5 wide receivers, and Elway appeared to have lost the grip on the football as he let it go.
No ruling. The arm did go forward. That would be an incomplete pass. John Elway did not mean to throw that football, but when that arm goes forward, even though his intentions weren't to let it go, even if it falls out of your hand, it is an incomplete pass. Watch John Elway. Watch the blitz come from his right. Here it comes. He is going to get hit hard if he doesn't get rid of the football. But on a cold, windy day, early in the game, the football can be hard and slippery.
And now Tom Ruin kicked for 46.9 yards a punt this season. Gets it away. David Megan from the 5. A hole up the middle. Stumbles across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. Good field position for the Jets when we come back. 59-yard punt, a 32-yard return. Great shots like that. Today's game is provided by Southwest Airlines. Last week in the victory over the Miami Dolphins, the Broncos scored touchdowns on each of their first 3 possessions. Today, very important for the Jets that they get the Broncos to go 3 and out. Testaverde to throw. Under pressure, lobs it out, complete. Keith Byers. clears across the 45 to the 43-yard line of the Broncos.
What a terrific job of Vinny Testaverde under pressure. Watch the quarterback. Here he is. He really has to anticipate the throw. Throws it up nice and soft, and look at the wind blowing the football around. But Keith Byers, even though he's a fullback, this is where he's the best as a football player. Running out of the backfield, going in motion, and catching passes.
Jets ball at the Denver 43. Martin. Back to the line of scrimmage. Loose football. The Broncos have it. Tyrone Braxton, number 34, with the recovery.
When you're running the football as a running back, anytime the hold doesn't happen right away, you've got to protect the football because defensive players are coming from behind to strip the football.
Wednesday.
If you're a visitor at Mile High Stadium, the last thing you can do is make mistakes, and that's exactly what the New York Jets have done here, Phil.
Two of them so far, the field goal, not being smart enough, judging the wind, and then don't fumble the ball, especially when you're just trying to keep rhythm in the offense.
Terrell Davis on first down. Breaks it outside. Out of bounds inside the Jet 40-yard line. 16 yards and a Bronco first down.
Well, the big key is the New York Jets, they want to get up the field on the outside. Don't let Terrell Davis do this. And what's coming from the outside? Pepper Johnson. He's got to stay out there. He doesn't do it. A good block by the Denver offensive lineman. They seal Pepper Johnson. Watch Pepper Johnson. He can't get away from the block. Mark Schlereth, and then when you have a really good running game, look at the wide receivers. Eddie McCaffrey, you always have good blocking downfield to make those 10-yard runs into 20-yard runs.
Dwayne Carswell is in as a second tight end for the Broncos. The ball goes back to Davis. Left side across the 35, and a pickup of about 5 on the play.
That was a good example of what we saw on that play that Bill Parcells talked about. He says we might play defense perfectly against Terrell Davis to stop the run. I think he's going to get 5 yards a lot of times when we do that. But that was a good example. The linemen stayed on their block on the offensive side. Terrell Davis, a hard runner, doesn't hesitate, picks up that extra 2 or 3 yards.
2nd and 5 from the 34. Elway, quick drop, throws the quick slant, and it's tipped at the line of scrimmage and falls incomplete. Chad Cascadden appeared to get a hand on the pass.
Now, Greg, I think we've heard it from both sides. Really good recognition by the Jets defense. Quick pass. Number 53, Chad Cascadden gets over, sees it. Ray Mickens, he's there anyway, but talking to both of these teams before the game this week, they both feel very confident they're going to move the football and score against the other team's defense.
John Elway yet to complete a pass in 3 attempts. Going to give it to Davis. Tries the right side and is going to come up short of a first down.
Notice, I think they're going to go for it on 4th down. That's one of the reasons why Mike Shanahan ran the football on 3rd and 5. You're immediately thinking ahead. You're going, if we can get 2, 3, 4 yards, I'm going for it on 4th down. With the wind, no matter if it's in your face or to your back, it's a problem. Today, you might see more attempts on 4th down than you usually do during a football game.
Broncos 4 out of 10 in 4th down conversions, 2 out of 3 last week against Miami. Elway keeping first down inside the 25-yard line.
I mean, I know it's Terrell Davis, the runner, but when you're playing defense against the Denver Broncos in those situations, last week they threw a pass on 4th and inches. This time you've got to hold your ground. You need discipline. The Jets did not show it. That lets John Elway get to the outside. Of course, now, I know he's faking to Terrell Davis. That would have an effect on me, too. Now, Mike Shanahan, he knows he's called a play that could blow up, and he goes, come on, John. Yeah, I'll run him. It's his last game maybe here. I'm going to run him today, he says.
First down from the 22, Davis. Tries to cut it back inside the 20, close to the 15-yard line. 7 yards on the play for Davis.
Now, you know, they're a little different, these Denver Broncos. When they throw the pitch play, watch Terrell Davis. He keeps his shoulders. Watch him turn them to the line of scrimmage, keep them parallel. Now he can cut back. As soon as he sees that first defender fall down or any space, he turns right up in there and gets positive yards.
The highest rushing yards per game in NFL history, 6 career playoff games. Davis again nudges his way across the 15, close to the first down line. One thing that every player with the Broncos and playing against the Broncos says about Terrell Davis, he's a patient runner. He doesn't immediately pop. He sits there, lets his blocking develop, and he's got terrific vision.
You know, you always need something that puts you over, that makes you different from everybody else, to make you great. Terrell Davis physically is terrific, but what he does is he diagnoses those plays, immediately makes the right cut, so he takes advantage of every single opportunity that's put in front of him.
The toss to Davis. Davis cuts it back across the 10, inside the 10. This is nothing new for Terrell Davis. He has wonderful starts at the beginning of a game. Look at his numbers by quarter this season.
Greg, he's physically very superior to a lot of running backs. So look at that first quarter. Then the conditioning and just the talent of the team shows that they can do it in the fourth quarter too. But the play calling for the Broncos usually keeps the other team off guard, off balance, and Terrell Davis really takes advantage of a defense being a little unsure of itself early in the game, but just running hard.
First and goal from the 9. Davis. Close to the 5. Otis Smith up from the cornerback position for the tackle.
You know what I found interesting coming into this week? Everybody talking about these two teams. Now, everybody sees Bill Parcells. He's a big, tough guy. They're a tough team. He's tough. Mike Shanahan, he's not real tall. No, he's thin, in shape, all this. Well, they're finesse. Couldn't be any farther from the truth. This Bronco offense especially is all about power and being tough. The New York Jets, they're all finesse on offense, so you can't be misled by the looks of the head coach.
Derek Lavelle has replaced Davis in the backfield. And he gets the handoff to the 3, maybe to the 2-yard line. A pickup of about 4. Anthony Pleasant, Corwin Brown on the tackle.
2 things so far. Terrell Davis taking a breather, had quite a few runs here early, but 2 things. Denver is running the football with power, and they're running it hard. And you got to say, even though they're moving down the field, you can see the Jets are in position to make the tackles and not giving up those big gaping holes that we've seen most teams give up.
There is a timeout on the field, and it has been called by the Denver Broncos with 2:20 to play here in the first quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by American Express. American Express helps you do more. And by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler.
Welcome back to Mile High Stadium in Denver. 2:20 to play first quarter. 3rd and goal for the Broncos from the 2-yard line. We talk about their terrific balance. Not here and not yet, but they're knocking on the door. Davis didn't get to the goal line. And it'll be 4th down.
4th down, let's see what it looks like Mike Shanahan has decided to go for it. I think first he wants to make sure and see where this football is marked. It looks like it's inside the 1-yard line. It's on the 1, so that's a little longer than you'd. Tough decision right here. Broncos are going for it.
On their last 4th down attempt, John Elway kept it around the right side.
That's right. Usually in these situations, the Broncos always come out with something different to catch the defense off guard.
Elway keeps, has a man in his face and throws incomplete, and the Jets hold. Mo Lewis.
You fool them once, you can't fool them twice. The Jets stayed disciplined, stayed in position. They stopped the 4th down attempt. It takes discipline in these situations. Mo Lewis, number 57, he shows the discipline he has. He doesn't go for the fake.
and the running play nets 2 yards. But a big defensive stand for the New York Jets, who had 2 critical mistakes early on, and then make the defensive stand, keep the Broncos out of the end zone, and the Jets still now have not allowed a first quarter point in any of their last 3 games.
The Jet defense showed they don't be a star, stay in your position, let the play come to you. They did that most of that drive. That's what kept the Broncos out of the end zone.
On 2nd and 9, penalty marker on the play.
Movement by the New York Jets.
And a little pile up in the end zone. That involves number 93, Trevor Price.
You know, Bill Parcells always had a little phrase when he wanted you to be disciplined on defense. In other words, when you see something.
Offense, number 84, 5-yard penalty. After this is the goal, still 2nd down.
That's tight end Fred Baxter.
He says when you see something on defense, you're a defensive player, and you see a little action, just don't go chasing like a dog after a car. Be disciplined, wait. Don't be a car chaser. So far today, his defense has done that. I didn't want to say don't be a dog. You know, I didn't want to.
He will hear about it nevertheless.
It's okay.
2nd down from the 1. Martin barely struggles out of the end zone. Price and Glenn Cadrez were there to make the tackle.
This is something I think you're going to see all day long with this New York Jets running game against this Denver defensive line and linebackers. Look at the movement. Keith Traylor, Harold Hasselback. I mean, Curtis Martin is doing a terrific job to keep them getting tackled in the end zone. That's why the Jets got to throw the football before they can run it.
They're going to spread the field with 5 wide receivers. Blitz. Quick pass. Keyshawn Johnson can't break free of the tackle, and the ball is down. That is not a fumble. He is ruled down by contact, but it'll be 4th down. So we will have a 4th down punt, but not until we change ends of the field. We have played 1 here in Denver. The Jets and the Broncos scoreless. John Kidd will kick out of his own end zone. Darian Gordon is back for the Broncos at his own 45. And Kidd with a horrible kick, but it takes a jet bounce and out of bounds at about the 45-yard line.
This is going to be a tough thing for the New York Jets today. Their punting game, it is definitely subpar. Something to watch for.
Want to remind you, Monday on CBS. Guess what? It's Raymond's birthday, and we're celebrating with the funniest episode yet. This is one party you don't want to miss. An all-new Everybody Loves Raymond, Monday at 9, 8 Central, right here on CBS, America's most watched network. John Elway with excellent field position. The ball at the Jet 45. The toss to Davis. And the pickup of a couple. Mo Lewis, Brian Cox in on the tackle.
Just a little thing to watch, Craig. We talked about it earlier, but just to set it up, watch to the right, Mo Lewis, number 57. Watch how he gets on the outside. Look at it. You see? Here he is. Now he makes Terrell Davis run back inside. If you let Terrell Davis get the option of going outside, then he spreads the defense out. And then when he cuts back, there is big gaping holes for those big runs. So terrific job by Mo Lewis.
2nd and 7. Davis loses the handle in the backfield and falls on the ball back at the 48-yard line. In all the Bronco games that we've seen this year, I don't ever recall seeing Terrell Davis do that.
That's the first. In fact, I think what did he go, about 800 attempts without a fumble, Greg, and then you showed up and he fumbled one time, and you're just bad luck. This time, the wind can cause the pitch play to be difficult sometimes, but it did not look like it affected the toss that time from John Elway to Terrell Davis. He was just trying to grab it a little too quick.
Broncos have lost only 6 fumbles in 17 games this season. They spread the field now with 5 wide receivers. Elway with time over the middle. Incomplete, intended for McCaffrey at about the 30-yard line. Scott Frost, number 47, an extra defensive back on the field, was there for the cover.
Two real things here. The Jets on third down are excellent covering receivers down the field. And the second thing is, so far today, it looks like John Elway is having a little problem throwing the football and putting it exactly where he wants it because of the wind.
John Elway is 0 for 5 so far today. Meggett back at his own 10 for the punt. High snap. Ruin loses the handle. And he is down at the 43-yard line.
Greg, I said it earlier, on days like this, the wind is blowing, there's no moisture in the air, the football is cold, it does get hard to handle. We've seen it 3 times so far today. Watch what happens. Squirts out of his hand.
Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado, the AFC Championship game here on CBS. 13:27 to play, and the Jets take over at the Denver 43. Testaverde throws. Curtis Martin to about the 41-yard line. Let's go back to the Tom Ruin miscue.
Well, Greg, we've heard it from coaches. Wind is a great equalizer. Watch Tom Ruin. Nice job catching the ball. The snap, the wind blew it up. But then when you try to squeeze a football on a day like today, you put your fingertips on it, it's like, there it goes, you know, like the grape seed.
Whose job is it to rub up the football?
Always the quarterback. Make sure the footballs are rubbed up enough so when the weather is like this, that you can still handle it.
The home quarterback.
The home quarterback, they're responsible for the footballs.
2nd and 9. Martin straight ahead and not much there.
And you know what this wind has done? It's changed the game. I mean, of course, we've already seen that, but now you're the coach on both sides. Mike Shanahan, Bill Parcells. You got to conduct the game a lot different than you thought. The game you prepared for all week, it's out the window. You got to call plays differently because of the wind.
We have seen the wind affect a field goal attempt by John Hall, who has been accurate from as far away as 54 yards today, and he sailed wide. It is now 3rd and 8. Testaverde, 8 of 8 throwing the football so far today. To the side, Brady takes a hit and goes down short of first down yardage. Romanowski was out there along with cornerback Ray Crockett.
Well, that is a good job. This is what this Bronco defense, it does best. Last week we saw it against the Miami Dolphins. When receivers caught the ball down the field, watch Kyle Brady on the flat, watch the tackling, Ray Crockett, and then watch the help. Bill Romanowski ramping him up, not giving up those extra yards.
And on 4th down,
well, he's going for it.
Testaverde comes back, and the play clock is now down to 5, 4, and now the Jets will have to call timeout, using their first timeout of the first half to stop the clock with 11:21 to play in this scoreless game.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Honda Accord. It's more than a car, it's a state of mind. IBM, are you ready for e-business? And by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper Butler.
Aerial coverage of today's game is provided by Southwest Airlines. This is a pretty interesting call by Bill Parcells and the Jets.
Well, when you go for it, 37-yard line, you're kind of in no man's land. But when you go for it, don't worry about the consequences. Just do it and live with the results.
4th and 4. Quick drop, quick throw, over the 30. That's enough for a first down. Dedrick Ward with the catch.
I think, Greg, I didn't have time to keep talking, but the reason maybe you go for it, your defense is playing really well, so you got a little more confidence. But this is what the Jets do so well. 5 wide receivers, the quarterback, 1, 2, 3, quick throw, and a perfect throw by Vinny Testaverde, and a nice catch in traffic. But the Jets have been doing those inside catches all year long.
Jets now at the Denver 28. Testaverde yelling to the far side. Play clock down is 3-2 and has to call timeout.
Well, no, they got to reset this clock. A football came on the field, and it came from the sidelines.
Football was on the field. Officials stopped the clock. Reset the game clock to 25 seconds.
So Testaverde caught that. He was pointing in Keith Byers' general direction.
I kept going, what's he pointing at? Is Keith that wide open? But a football was out on the field, and Vinny Testaverde did the right thing. Except he had a great defense to throw against that time. I don't know if he'll see it again this time.
So we'll try it again. First down.
Same play again. Same defense.
Testaverde looked, has time. Byers goes for the first down. Upended, lost the football. The Broncos say they have it, and they do. .14 to play in the first half. Another big turnover here in Denver.
He moves Bill Romanowski, then throws the ball. Now Keith Byers, he is big. Go down low. Bill Romanowski. Keith Byers does not get his arms around the ball to protect it, but it's a big hit that causes the fumble.
Each team has fumbled twice. Denver has recovered all 4 times. This is Davis. Out of bounds across the 30-yard line. 18 yards on the play.
Well, the Denver Broncos can't get wide like they usually do, so what a good adjustment. They bring Terrell Davis in motion, and the back comes out of the backfield. They pull Dan Neal, a different look for the New York Jets. And look, no defender on the outside. Now you just got to keep retreating and keep Terrell Davis from going for big yards. But look at Terrell Davis. Doesn't take him long to decide what he's going to do with that football once you put it in his hands.
23 touchdowns on the season, 21 of them on the ground. Elway, quick drop, quick throw, and complete to Shannon Sharp across the 35. That's Elway's first complete pass of the day.
Well, even that football came out of his hand. It looked a little funny, like it fell out of the bottom. No spin on it. You know, kind of hard for the receiver to catch. 1 for 6, and Vinny Testaverde, I've been trying to talk about it, but Bill Parcells has said many times, this quarterback, talking about Vinny Testaverde, weatherproof. No matter what the conditions, he seems to throw the football well.
2nd and 4. Another quick drop and another quick pass, and that's in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Rod Smith.
Well, Rod Smith hits himself in the chest. He says, hey, my fault. And yes, it was there. You got to make that catch. And, you know, the passing game, when it starts to struggle, everybody loses a little faith. You lose that rhythm. You know, no receiver for the Broncos is in the rhythm of the football game yet. All they've done is go down the field and block for Terrell Davis.
So now Elway and the Broncos look at 3rd and 4, and Elway uses a timeout. That's the 2nd timeout used by the Broncos here in the first half. We're still scoreless at Mile High.
99 TL and by the American General Financial Group. Live the life you've imagined.
We remind you, coming up at halftime, Jim Nance and the crew are here in Denver for the NASDAQ Amex halftime report. They'll have first half analysis and highlights from the NFC Championship game. And Jets Hall of Fame Super Bowl III MVP Joe Namath joins us live. That's all coming up on the NASDAQ Amex halftime report.
Well, we got a whole team there. Now, we got a quarterback. I don't know about the rest of that crew. You know, I don't know. I saw them on the pregame set. All they were worried about was their hair and their makeup. But here we go. Fireman Ed, cheerleader for the New York Jets, and he brought the fire truck and some other people. I mean, some good size the Jets have representing themselves up in the stands.
5 wide receivers for the Broncos on 3rd and 4. Batted down, another pass batted down against Elway today.
Last week, Mark Brunell had 4 passes knocked down when he played the New York Jets in the playoff game. Today, the Jets, hey, they are at best an average pass rushing team, but what they do, Anthony Pleasant, number 98, knows he's not going to get to the quarterback, make the sack. When you watch the quarterback, he raises his arm, raise yours too.
That's 3 Elway passes the Jets have knocked down today. And Ruin gets this one away. Not a terrific kick. Meggett fields it at the 20 and is dropped. And a penalty marker is down. That was Darius Johnson down for the Broncos. And this is going to be against the Jets. Our referee today is Ed Hockley. So the line of scrimmage was going to be the 20-yard line.
Seems to be a lot of discussion, so I'm kind of waiting to see, is it really holding or?
Did you think he was just kidding?
Well, you know, sometimes they get confused too.
Illegal block in the back by the receiving team, number 44, during the kick. 10-yard penalty. Enforced from the end of the kick. New York keeps the ball. First down.
Well, that's just another miscue for the New York Jets. And look at this game so far. The Jets have had the opportunities. Curtis Martin on the fumble. Tyrone Braxton hustling. Keith Myers. Fumble. The Broncos, they're not handling it much better either. Terrell Davis fumbles. Tom Ruin. Whoops. And we've seen the drop passes, the penalties. You know, as we're sitting here, Greg, during the commercial, I say, you can feel the tension. It's building because both sides, they're in territory they've never seen this year where their offenses can't score.
First down, Jets from their own 10. Testaverde throws Martin out of the backfield. First down, up the sideline and more. Across the 35 and out to about the 38-yard line, where Romanowski finally tracked him down.
What really happened in this play, they got Curtis Martin wide open. Keyshawn Johnson comes in motion, goes inside, brings the defense. Look at this, nobody out there. The linebacker coming out to cover him. Looked like John Mobley tripped and fell down because of the traffic problem created by Keyshawn Johnson going across the middle.
And Vinny Testaverde, a perfect 12 out of 12 for 132 yards so far today, and a little more breathing room for the Jet offense now to the 37. Martin to the 39. Cadrez was there to meet him. When we talked with Bill Parcells yesterday, when we said, well, you know, it might be windy out there, he said, what? I hope it blows at about 100 miles an hour.
You know, spoken like a coach, a guy who doesn't have to handle the football, throw it or catch it, punt it or kick it. And it's easy for him to say because, you know what? When he watches the film and sees, you know, the incompletions, all the mistakes, he's going to forget about the win.
Not much passing yardage for the Broncos. Testaverde with time over the middle. Keyshawn Johnson. And Johnson is cut down just short of the 45-yard line by Romanowski.
Well, Keyshawn Johnson, we've seen it all from him. He knows how to run the football last week. But this is something because of his size and his courage and the fact that Coach Parcells says, hey, this guy likes to compete. He will go over the middle, catch the tough catch, and take the hit.
You know the roll call from a week ago. 1 touchdown receiving, 1 running, a fumble recovery, and interception.
He was the most proud of. I asked him, the fumble recovery was the thing when that game was over. He said, that's what made me happy.
3rd and short, quick pass, incomplete. Trebek, the intended receiver.
That was great defense by the Denver Broncos. They see this play every single day in practice against their team. The inside receiver going short, trying to pick up the first down, and Vinny Testaverde does a good job because Ray Crockett read the play and was coming up for the interception or a really big hit.
Testaverde's first incomplete pass in 14 attempts today.
Ray Lucas at quarterback. What the Jets are going to do, they're going to see the defense.
And now the officials step in.
Timeout, New York.
And the Jets call timeout.
Team timeout.
That is their second.
30-second timeout.
This is quite an interesting day at Mile High Stadium. We're still scoreless. A little something up the sleeve that last time.
He does. The Jets, Bill Parcells, when he was with the Giants, the New England Patriots, he puts in a guy like Ray Lewis on 4th and short. They read the defense, and they call the play from the line of scrimmage. The coach tells Ray Lucas what to call from upstairs. He makes the decision. They run the play that gives them the best chance.
Now Kidd is deep and gets the kick away. It bounces at the 20. Darian Gordon doesn't quite get back to the 20-yard line. So it'll be first down for the Broncos. While we have the opportunity of just what were more than 17 million people doing last Wednesday night, they were making the premiere of 60 Minutes 2, the #1 program on any network. See what they're talking about next Wednesday on 60 Minutes 2 here on CBS, America's most watched network.
Hey, I ran a promo last week.
I was so proud of you.
Yeah, I did good. Only mispronounced 3 words, stumbled a little.
It was in English and everything.
It was good. I enjoyed it too, Greg. Watch out. Don't let the backup in. You know what they say.
Broncos starting field position has been better than that of the Jets. They start from their own 19. Davis, left side, across the 20 to about the 22, maybe the 23-yard line.
I mean, that's really, again, watch the New York Jets defense on this play. Terrell Davis, just look at all the defenders. Mo Lewis, look, he goes up the field. Terrell Davis has to go inside. He makes the play with one arm, but look at all the defenders around the football. Don't over pursue. Mo Lewis going to his first Pro Bowl. Best defensive player the New York Jets have.
On 2nd and 6. Elway with time over the middle. Davis out of the backfield. First down and more to about the 34-yard line. 11-yard pickup. Cox and Mickens with the tackle. First down, Denver.
Now, when you're going to play defense like the New York Jets do, what's going to happen when there's a play-action pass? Look how long and look at the pocket John Elway has. Nobody open down the field. So if they're not open down the field, nobody's underneath. Throw it to the running back, Terrell Davis. But the Broncos even told us that. He said the way they play run defense, when we go play action, John Elway should have a long time to decide where he wants to throw the football.
Davis with the lion's share of yardage today. Penalty marker flags. The pass out of the backfield is Howard Griffith. Now let's check the penalty. It's going to be a holding call on the Broncos.
Well, that's something that should not happen on first down for the Denver Broncos when they run a play-action pass.
Here's Ed Hockley.
Illegal hands to the face. Offense number 62. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
That's the right guard, Dan Neal.
Let's down. That makes better sense. The right guard, 62. Here he is. Watch him. Goes up. Hand slips up to the face, and he keeps it there for a while against Jason Ferguson. And the officials are going to see that every single time.
We have 5 minutes to play here in the first half. This is the longest all season long Denver has gone without scoring.
I'd say most of America's a little in shock. Turn on the TV, you're expecting 42-38 to be the game or the score.
Time. Elway slips the rush, floats to his left, and throws, and incomplete. Rod Smith caught it, but the officials say not in bounds.
We got a penalty flag.
And now we have a discussion.
Way to go, Ed. Way to go.
Rod Smith probably went out of bounds, came back in.
And Ed Hockley explaining it all now to Dwayne Gordon of the Jets.
But that time, what coverage down the field by the New York Jets. John Elway scrambling around again. Look at the time he had to throw the football. Nobody gets open until the very end. Rod Smith finally breaks away from the defender, gets along the sideline, try to make the catch.
The Denver receiver, who was first to touch the pass, was out of bounds. Therefore, illegal touching. The penalty is declined. Brings up second down.
So the Broncos will now look at 2nd and 20.
I think John Elway, what he is arguing about, I think the ball was tipped.
I thought it was tipped too.
And the ball is tipped. Now Rod Smith should be able to come back in bounds. He is not the first person to touch it. He can now make the reception, but I'm not sure even, I couldn't tell from here whether he was in bounds or not.
So 2nd and 20 from the 25. Davis looking for room. No cutback room. Brian Cox is there. Let's go back to that play.
It looked like John Elway, either he lost complete control of it. Here he comes, Brian Cox gets his hand up, absolutely. Now John Elway can lose control of the football, but he don't throw many end-over-enders. You don't throw for over 50,000 yards and do all the things he's done and throw footballs like that, but Brian Cox thought he was washed up. I thought he couldn't play no more. Comes into the New York Jets and has been a big part of this defense, why it's had success.
3rd and 19. Elway again with time, now gets rid of it to the far side. That's complete to Shannon Sharp. And Sharp is called down before he reached the 35-yard line. Shannon disagrees.
Now, wouldn't you think Shannon Sharp, he's a pretty good player, and you got to pay attention to him. Watch Shannon Sharp come across the field. Nobody, and I mean nobody, sees him, nobody covers him, and then finally John Elway sees him, throws the ball high up in the air, and the defense finally reacts and gets there to make the tackle.
And a reaction from the mile-high crowd that didn't believe that he had a knee down. Bruin will kick it to Meggett. This one floats down to the 30, takes a Bronco bounce inside the 20. There's a penalty marker down back upfield, and finally comes to rest around the 15-yard line. That's a 51-yard kick, but now let's check the flag.
It looked like AstroTurf, that way that ball was bouncing down the field. Greg, we just see so many things that tells you what the conditions of the game, how it's affecting the players. I mean, Tom Ruin,
well, we have offsetting penalties.
But Tom Ruin is such a good punter, and I've seen him punt extremely well in windy conditions. And that time, kicked it end over end, and the only reason it went pretty far, of course, was because of the bounce and the extra yards on the roll.
Well, you touched on it earlier, Phil. We have two high-powered offensive teams here, and anyone tunes in, it says 3:15 to play in the first half, and you're scoreless.
Well, let's go. Let's make a decision.
There were fouls by both teams on the play. Unsportsmanlike conduct by the kicking team, number 25, went out of bounds and remained out of bounds as he covered the kick. By rule, that penalty is declined. There was also holding by the receiving team, number 82, during the kick. That penalty is enforced 10 yards from the end of the kick. That team keeps the ball. First down.
That means Darius Johnson got knocked out of bounds by the Jet defenders. Instead of coming back in bounds, the rule is you got to come in as soon as you can. And he goes, watch him, number 25, going to go down the sideline. The Jet defenders, Chris Hayes, Kevin Williams, push him out, and now he's going to stay out of bounds. Well, you can't hit me while I'm out of bounds. But again, special teams, penalties, killing the New York Jets, just putting them in field position where they just can't overcome.
And now Bill Parcells on the far side of the field has taken a couple of steps out onto the field. And he's not quite going to get the explanation he wants right now. So the Jets will start from their own 8-yard line. And now Ed Hockley is going to go over and talk to the coach.
He's going to go over and explain it. You would think it would be all sitting penalties. Let's replay. But since the ball was not returned, that's why they say when he ran out of bounds, that's why that call is wiped off.
Which means that the only penalty that survives the play is against the New York Jets.
Was the holding. We have taken quite a while today. Now, this is one of the big gripes that I think we all have. It takes too long. Make the decision. Get up there. And let's call the penalty and be a little faster and keep the game moving for the fans and people at home.
Although, putting yourself in Bill Parcells' position, you would certainly hope to get a good explanation for what you think is the proper call.
But what happens, Greg, anytime now when there's a double foul in a kicking situation like this where there's a change of possession, it's automatically the one against the kicking team is wiped off. And you know why it's wiped off? Keep the pace of play moving in the football game.
Well, we accomplished that, didn't we?
We did that.
3:15 to play, first half. Jets start at their own 8-yard line. We are scoreless in this AFC Championship game in Mile High Stadium. Testaverde throws far side behind Byers. And Romanowski was right there with it.
Well, the way this game is going, I mean, can you imagine saying something like this before the game started? All the points they can score. Whoever scores first, especially if it's a touchdown, could really dictate the pace of play the rest of the day.
I flash back to our production meeting last night as we went around the stadium, around the table, and all of our guys were thinking, well, what do you think the score is going to be? 45-35, 48-40.
I think the lowest was 31-28.
Meggett in as a wide receiver, 1 of 5. Testaverde gets rid of it in a hurry, and that's behind Dedrick Ward.
Well, Vinny Testaverde has been afforded really good protection all day long. And this time, when you go to 5 wide receivers, your offensive line, Steve Atwater and blitz, they got everybody covered, but they just sneak through and get pressure on Vinny Testaverde, makes him throw the football away.
We have 2 teams here, neither of which has been shut out in the first half of any game this season.
3rd and long, the Denver Broncos love to blitz the opposing team, make them throw the football short and fast.
Testaverde going to roll to his right. There's a penalty marker down. Passes in and out of the hands. Oh, no, it is caught by Corbett, but there are markers down. And the Jets say this is against the Broncos. You could read Greg Robinson's lips. Come on, Romo.
Offside. Defense number 96 lined up in the neutral zone. The penalty is declined. First down.
96 is Harold Hasselbeck.
Greg, when you get backed up in the opposing team stadium like the Jets are here today, Vinny Testaverde, what you do, catch the defense off guard, move the pocket, affords your quarterback that extra 1 second to throw the football. That enables him to find Wade Corbett down the field and open.
Jets first down from their own 22. Testaverde throws for Keyshawn Johnson. Out of bounds just across the 40-yard line. 18 yards and a first down for the Jets.
There's only 2 reasons you can throw and complete this pass against this defense. 1, Keyshawn Johnson. He's big, tall, not afraid to take the hit into double coverage. And maybe the most important of all, you have a quarterback in Vinny Testaverde. They can make any throw and has the power and the accuracy to stick it in there.
2 passes, and the Jets escape the shadow of their own goalpost out to their own 42. 2.5 minutes to play in the first half. Quick pass, incomplete. Number 90, Neil Smith, was in on Testaverde.
Now, you talk about, you come into a game, you talk about what's going to be called the strategy. It is a chess match. The Jets are throwing the football well. And we've noticed in these last 3 or 4 passes, the Broncos they've had enough of it. Let's change the pace of this. They've been blitzing Testaverde, and they're getting to him, making him throw the football quickly.
Meggett flanked as a receiver to the bottom of your screen. Testaverde, quick drop, throws, incomplete, intended for Corbett.
A lot of pressure on the quarterback, getting in his face, and this time, this is the quarterback's worst enemy. Throwing the football in the middle of the field, and it gets tipped by a defensive lineman. What I always say, because when you're the quarterback, you go, well, it's going to be intercepted. But that time, because the field was so spread, it falls to the ground.
3rd and 10. Testaverde rolls, pulls it down, now throws this side and overthrows Johnson. And the Jets will kick it away.
Well, the Jets have to be somewhat pleased coming from their goal line, getting the football out past the 40-yard line, so they change field position, and that's always first goal when you gain possession inside your own 10-yard line.
Kidd gets a much better kick away this time around. It is Gordon from his own 8-yard line. And out to the 30. 49-yard punt, 21-yard return. And 2:01 to play in a game that we figured was going to be just heavy on the fireworks. Look at these teams ranking first and second and first and third in all of these offensive categories. It just hasn't happened that way.
Well, it hasn't happened. And again, let me just say it one more time. If it was a nice, calm day, I think the play calling, the execution, we would see an entirely different football game from both sides.
Wait for the whistle.
The Jets with 11 rushing yards and 171 passing. Terrell Davis. And that goes nowhere. Maybe 2 yards as we hit the 2-minute warning of a scoreless AFC Championship game. We'll come back to Mile High Stadium right after this. We remind you once again, coming up at halftime, Jim Nance and the crew are here in Denver for the NASDAQ Amex halftime report. They'll have first half analysis, highlights from the NFC Championship game, and Jets Hall of Fame Super Bowl III MVP Joe Namath joins us live. That's all coming up on the NASDAQ Amex halftime report.
You know, there's Fireman Ed.
The last scoreless first half in an AFC Championship game, Denver at Buffalo. It's the only AFC Championship game the Broncos ever lost. Minute 56 to play here in the first half. 2nd and 8 for Denver. Throwing to the near side, McCaffrey with a fine catch at the 40-yard line. Aaron Glenn was right there, and McCaffrey pulled it in.
Aaron Glenn read the play, but what happened is Ed McCaffrey is 6'5", and he couldn't get around him to make the play.
Clock continues to move. 1:35 to play.
Quarterback sneak.
Exactly what Elway does, and he gets the first down. And now, timeout called. And the Broncos use their 3rd and final timeout here in the first half. 6 to play, and John Elway is out of timeouts, Phil.
John Elway's out of timeouts. The New York Jets defense has shown they can hang in there and control the running game. But what they've really shown the Denver Broncos, we can cover your receivers down the football field.
Elway under the gun and goes down. Chad Cascadden, number 53, with the sack.
Well, anytime the New York Jets get a sack, Chad Cascadden, he's like the guy that can do everything for the defense. Plays linebacker, rushes the passer, covers running backs out of the backfield. He can do it all.
2nd and 18, going to go long down the field for McCaffrey. Incomplete. Corwin Brown, number 44, was there.
Greg, what has happened to the Denver Broncos offense in their passing game is the Jets have not been fooled by the play action passes. That's what the Broncos offense lives on, but they've changed their coverage in the backfield. Usually, if I can explain this right, the Jets like to split the field. They leave the middle open against almost everybody. The Broncos love that type of defense. Today, the Jets and Bill Belichick are putting both their safeties inside almost every single play, taking the inside passing game away from the Denver Broncos.
Broncos 0 for 1 on 3rd and yardage longer than 8. On the blitz. Elway rolling, throwing downfield. It is incomplete. 4 Jets around Shannon Sharp. And with 56 seconds on the clock, the Broncos will kick it away.
16 years in the league, John Elway can still get out of the pocket, avoids the defender, but again, not enough room to stick the ball in down to the receiver once they get down the field.
And John Elway has not been able to throw the ball effectively today. Vinny Testaverde has, but when the Jets have gotten close, turnovers have killed him.
Hey, you get good at analyzing this
Thank
thing.
you very much.
Like that.
Dave Meggett at his own 15 for the punt from Ruin. Got it away. And a penalty marker is down as Meggett chases the ball out of bounds.
Holding on the Broncos that time, Ray Lucas The backup quarterback for the New York Jets is going to go in. He's going to block the punt. So it was a good job by the Broncos grabbing him and tackling to keep him from blocking the punt.
Holding. Kicking team number 59, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, fourth down.
Let's link to Drez. Watch up the middle. Ray Lucas, number 6. He's coming. He is going to absolutely block that punt. Glenn Cadrez, number 59 on the ground. That is a terrific job knowing your beat and knowing the quickest way to that punter is right up the middle. So Rick Dennison, the special teams coach, he's going, good job.
Nice penalty.
Good job.
47 seconds left on the clock. Yard line. If you're not going to Miami, CBS Sportsline will bring Miami to you for the big picture with continuous updates and reports throughout Super Bowl 33. Log on to cbs.sportsline.com or on America Online at keyword CBS Sportsline. Probably get all those pictures of Phil relaxing in his backyard.
Oh, sure. Just what I do.
38 seconds to play in the first half.
I don't think I ever relax, really. You know, I just live tired. Just keep going.
But you certainly didn't relax on those promos last week, did you? First down from the 40, Testaverde. With time, over the middle, Corbett hangs on after juggling for a moment. And it's a first down at about the Denver 41-yard line.
Well, Vinny Testaverde, you get in this position, your time is against you. No timeouts, one timeout left. You go down the middle of the field, but the Denver Broncos, watch what they do. Look, 2 pass rushers. Alfred Williams on one side, somebody over here, I can't see who it is, and they just give Testaverde all day to throw. Wayne Corbett in the middle of the field, good move, perfect throw.
You might recall a week ago, Wayne Corbett had a bit of a fumbling problem and came out with wearing some long sleeves, much to the delight of Bill Parcells.
Sleeves and gloves. Bill Parcells says, I want my wide receivers, when it gets cold, I want something on their arms to give them something that, so when the ball is thrown, it gives it a chance to stick, because your skin, when it's cold, gets slick just like everything else. And Wayne Corbett didn't have them on last week. He fumbled, and he heard about it.
You saw the number of timeouts remaining. It's a score. 0 for each team. 29 seconds on the clock. Testaverde throws, complete, out of bounds. No, it's ruled incomplete. Dedrick Ward with the dive.
Well, the Jets throwing some different plays at the Denver Broncos defense. Dedrick Ward going down and breaking out. He is wide open. Vinny Testaverde puts it there.
Oh, incomplete.
Just can't quite bring it in. See what happens. The wide receiver, Dedrick Ward, knows the sideline. He's fighting all these thoughts, and he forgets that number one thing, catch the football.
.23 seconds on the clock. Testaverde going to throw. Complete. Dedrick Ward. And Ward out of bounds at about the 15-yard line. What a terrific throw by Vinny Testaverde.
What a terrific throw. It's a blitz. What a pickup by the New York Jets. Look at all the defenders inside. Single coverage up top. And look at the pickup. Nobody gets near the quarterback. Testaverde anticipates the throw. Nice catch by Dedrick Ward, who turns the defender all the way around down the field.
So now the Jets out of timeouts. First down at the 14-yard line. You see Testaverde's numbers in the red zone. As time throws incomplete, intended for Curtis Martin out of the backfield.
If that ball would have been complete, the half would have probably ended. Vinny Testaverde, the Jets, they got to know if you're going to throw it, it must go into the end zone or to the sideline. 10 seconds left, no timeouts. You've got to throw it in the end zone.
Keith Byers bringing the play in from the sideline.
Now, what you do as a quarterback, you've got to know this, Greg. You've got to come to the line of scrimmage, and it's got to be an instant read. You've got to know right away you've got a chance. If not, you just drop back and you throw it out of the back of the end zone or out of bounds.
Keyshawn Johnson flanked to the near side of the field. Testaverde throws incomplete. Keith Byers is intended receiver.
The Jets, they pack everybody inside, and what they do, watch Keith Byers coming out of the backfield. He's going to do an out and up, and he is open for the touchdown. And Vinny Testaverde's upset. He knows it's a touchdown. He wants holding on the play against Bill Romanowski. It was not.
This will be a 32-yard field goal attempt by John Hall. And Hall's kick is good. The first points of this AFC Championship game come as time expires here in the first half. Our halftime score, the Jets 3, Denver nothing. Coming up, we'll be sending you downstairs for the NASDAQ Amex halftime report. Jim Nantz and company will get you caught up on first half highlights and all the NFL news after these messages from your local station.
Presentation of the NASDAQ Amex halftime report is sponsored by the NASDAQ Amex Market Group, the market of markets.
And at Mile High, high winds dictating play. Testaverde over 200 yards passing, and Denver's been held to only 108 yards total offense in the first half. Jets with the lead, and we welcome you to the NASDAQ Amex halftime report. Jim Nantz with you, along with Randy Cross and Craig James, Brent Jones, Marcus Allen. And, you know, we were expecting a shootout here at the OK Corral. Instead, we got the Broncos shut out here in the first half. That's a stunner, Randy.
It's sort of like some of the things we talked about in the pregame show, Jim. This is the Jets' pace of play. The Broncos are really off their game right now. And with this kind of weather conditions, that means special teams and ball control. And there hasn't been a better coach in the last 20 years at a ball control football game than Bill Parcells.
You know, you talk about, though, the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are a running football team. They can't get it going. The backside blocking's falling down. They're not doing anything. Play side, they're not pushing people out of there. They're letting guys come off their blocks and make tackles. They got to get Terrell Davis in the game. The wind is a factor. The offensive line, neither one of them really, the Jets or the Broncos, have done a good job in the running game.
Right, Ted, passing-wise, the Jets on first down, Vinny's been lighting the Broncos up.
Yeah. Guys, in championship games, you've got to do the little things to be successful. In the first half, Keyshawn Johnson catches a ball coming underneath on a crossing route, a second and long. Instead of getting up and getting vertical and moving the chains, he goes horizontal, loses a couple yards. They don't convert on third down. You got to get upfield, take the hit, take the 3 or 4 yards, and move the chains.
Well, Brent, you know about this. In catching the ball and win like this, you got to pay extra attention to detail. You got to stay with the ball. Stay focused on the ball. You can't pull your head off. And then when you do possess it, hey, stay there. Sometimes, hey, forget about the yards after the catch. You got to possess the ball. That's the most important thing.
Hey, guys, I hope you believe now, all right? Someone today is going to win the Lamar Hunt Trophy, the winner of this game. But earlier today, the Atlanta Falcons. What a stunning performance as they defeat the Minnesota Vikings and advance to the Super Bowl for the first time in franchise history. Minnesota hosting the NFC title game for the first time since 1976. Down a quick 7, but here comes Cunningham and Randy Moss. Not Randy Cross, by the way. Moss with the fingertip grab. And later in the fourth quarter, there's Carl Eller watching. This could have iced it. He had not missed all year, but Gary Anderson from 38 yards missed by a foot. Chandler tied it with a touchdown pass in the OT. Morton Anderson from the same spot.
The hole from the near side hash. Here's the placement. The kick. High. End over end. It's gone, and the Falcons are going to the Super Bowl.
We came back and we just stuck to our guns and did the things that we needed to do. Overcome the turnovers. We had a chance to win this game. And we made the plays when we needed to. And what can you say about Morton Anderson, man? Came in. They said it all week long. He's going to be the difference, and he was.
And what can you say about Chris Chandler? Just an absolute stunning performance by this team overall, and he was special. Hey, you live in Atlanta. What's going on down there with this Falcon team, Randy?
Well, you know, 98's been the year of kind of the feel-good story in sports. Rankin Smith dies. The team gets a little down and depressed. Dan Reeves has an open heart surgery. The team rallies behind him. The magic they've had all year long with Jamal Anderson and Chandler. You can't feel better for an organization than you feel for them right now. This has been one of the best years the NFL has seen in a long time, and it just keeps getting better.
It really is an amazing story, and now he becomes, does Dan Reeves, just the third coach to take 2 different franchises to a Super Bowl, joining Shula and Bill Parcells, who's going for a 3rd today. All right, we're now pleased to be joined by none other than Joe Willie Namath from his home in Florida. Hey there, Joe. I know you've been been watching this first half with just great interest. Your impressions on the Jets play in the first half?
Well, first of all, I was happy to see those Jet fans dressed out there amongst all those Bronco fans, all right? Secondly, Bill Parcells has his team prepped. I mean, the defense to shut down that Denver Bronco offense this first half has been remarkable. The offensive line, Randy Cross, of the New York Jets has given great pass protection. Both of these teams are playing great run defense, and Mother Nature's in the mix, but I'd settle for another 3-0 second half.
I'm sure you would. Hey, you got to be proud of the play if Vinny Testaverde completes his first 13 passes. He's a young boy growing up. He's got your poster in his bedroom. You are his boyhood idol, and you spoke to him just about a week ago. Tell me your impressions of Vinny and about your meeting with him.
Yes, I know Vinny a long time, since his college days, too. And, you know, I talked to Vinny out at the complex, and he gave me a hat. He said, Joe, will you sign this hat for me? I said, sure, Vinny, who's it for, man? He says, well, it's for me. And now what do you write to Vinny, right? You know, you just can't say good luck. So I thought, you know, and I knew, Vinny, I hope you get what you want, man. And that's a championship for the Jet fans and for everybody. You know, Mr. Hester, Jet fans deserve something, and Bill Parcells is putting it right out there.
Well, they're maybe just 2 quarters away from winning the AFC championship. How about a prediction here, what we're going to see in the second half?
Well, I think you're going to see the Jets still continue to run the same type offense. You know, we've given the ball over. We dropped it a few times, too, on passes. We continue to hold on to the ball, not turn it over. We would have had more points up there. Defensively, you just can't let up that much. You know, with Davis and Elway in that group, the defense has to continue to play solid.
All right, Joe. Thank you very much. Great to visit with you. Joe Namath from his home down in Florida, with the Super Bowl going to Florida just 2 weeks away. Will the Jets be there? We know Atlanta will be. Thanks for watching the NASDAQ MX Halftime Report. Coming up, the second half of the Jets and the Broncos. Again, the winner goes to Super Bowl 33. We'll be rejoining Greg and Phil in just a moment.
Defense off guard.
CBS Sports presentation of the NASDAQ MX Halftime Report is sponsored by the NASDAQ MX Market Group, the market of markets.
Twice. Everybody's always thinking.
CBS Sports presentation of the NASDAQ MX Halftime Report is sponsored by the NASDAQ MX Market Group, the market of markets.
A John Hall field goal is all that has pierced the scoreboard. 3-0 Jets. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this word from your local station. Along with Phil Simms, interesting first half, a 3-0 score. Everything we didn't expect.
Hey, shocking. I mean, that's what it is. And I think the coaches said it. Wind is a great equalizer. And that's what we've seen in the first half. You're at halftime. What you talk about, don't turn the ball over. Just make sure you hold on to it. Don't try to make plays, because that could be the difference, a fumble.
Take a look at the halftime statistics from the first half. And, boy, one of the amazing things, the New York Jets ran just 8 times. Look at the passing yardage, 217 yards for the Jets, just 25 for the Denver Broncos. The 2 Jets turnovers, very costly. They lead it by a score of 3-0. Teams are getting ready now for the start of the second half, and the Jets will kick it away to the Denver Broncos. Do you think it was a quiet, subdued locker room on each side, Phil?
You know, Greg, I think it was, because I think they're both in shock. I mean, I think really, no matter how you look at it, they go, well, I know it's windy, it's this and that, but still they expect to be able to execute and do the simple things, and just not controlling the football by both teams stopped them from scoring.
Terrell Davis, 14 carries, 75 yards in the first half, but maybe the biggest difference of all, John Elway, 4 out of 14 for just 33 yards.
Denver wanted to run the football. They tried. They had some success. But the thing is, when they tried to take advantage of the fact that they were running the football well, nothing was open for John Elway to throw the football to. So couldn't make those drives, couldn't score because of the defensive backs of the New York Jets.
Vaughn Hebron is deep for the Broncos, and he will watch the ball bounce in the end zone, and he will not run it out. Let's check in with our sideline reporters, beginning with Armin Katayan. Armin.
Greg, talk to Mike Shanahan. No big surprises, no big changes for the Broncos. They have the win in the third quarter. Look for them to open it up and try to win this game right now. Now over to Bonnie.
Bill Parcells seems pretty happy all around. He said his defense is playing great, and he's actually pretty happy with the way the offense is moving the ball. He said, give or take a couple weather-related fumbles and miscues, we'd be right in this. Greg?
All right, Bonnie. First down for the Broncos from their own 20-yard line. And he'll go right to the air. incomplete. The ball sailing over Rod Smith, the intended receiver.
John Elway struggling with the elements, the wind, the ball, not the grip he wants. That's why the ball's getting away from him. It did there, but I thought Armin said something was very important. The Broncos have the win, and now when you get in the second half of a game, you know, the loser's out. The strategy is very important, so now you got to take advantage of it while you have it behind your back.
On 2nd and 10, Davis, right side. Little bit of running room, about 4 yards on the play. You know, we've been talking all week long. Heck, this is the 8th time we've seen the Denver Broncos this year. We've been talking all season long about how do you stop Terrell Davis. The answer is probably you don't stop him. You just try to contain him a little bit.
You know, Greg, that is exactly right. And don't over pursue. Don't be, like we said, don't try to be a star. That way they can't use those play action passes and really move the ball down the field.
Elway from the shotgun on 3rd and 5. Quick pass, incomplete, intended for Rod Smith, and Ray Mickens was right there to make the play for the Jet cornerback.
Now, the one thing the New York Jets, we said it earlier in the show, on 3rd down, especially when you're throwing short passes, trying to pick up the first downs, they do a terrific job of defending those passes. And the best one I've seen with the Jets, and maybe in the National Football League doing that, Ray Mickens, number 24.
Dave Meggett deep for the punt from Ruin. End over end, way out of bounds, up near midfield. It's not a terrific punt. It will be terrific field position for the New York Jets when we come back.
Private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Greg Gumbel, Phil Simms, Armin Katayan, Bonnie Bernstein, and the rest of our crack crew at Mile High Stadium. The Jets with their first possession here in the 3rd quarter, first down from their own 45-yard line. They lead 3-0. You saw the flags atop the upright. The wind has been a factor here today. Testaverde with the screen for Curtis Martin. Martin midfield. Cracked down at the 40-yard line, and a penalty marker flies. Romanowski delivering another big hit for the Broncos. And Romo gets up staggered.
Well, that is having just no regard for your body, and he just went down there and threw it into Curtis Martin, and it was a ferocious hit.
Offense, number 62, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That's going to cost the Jets left guard Todd Berger.
Bill Romanowski is all the way to the left. He sees the screen play, watch the hustle, comes across the field. The New York Jets, a terrific screen team, and look at this hit. Just give it up, and Bill Romanowski, we talked to him on Friday. Look at Curtis Martin. He's protecting that football. But what did he say to us Friday? He goes, I hate everybody in the opposing uniform. And he means it in a good way. That's what you want in a football player. And he's, you know, he has a couple rules. What was one rule? Never help the opposing player up after you knock him down.
And don't be a teammate of his either. Who does that? First down. Testaverde, ball tipped. Keyshawn Johnson couldn't reach it, and it falls incomplete. You know, when we saw Romo on Friday, he has to be in the best shape of his football career.
Well, he is. He works at it year-round. He's just a student of the game mentally and just takes care of his body and works hard. And you can see it. Always run around. Big tackle on Curtis Martin on a screen play. Stops Keyshawn Johnson from getting a first down. Caused a fumble by Keith Byers.
He's still shaking the cobwebs on the bench as the Jets look at 2nd and 10. Martin gets nowhere. Number 51, John Mobley, tackles him for a 1-yard loss.
Well, the New York Jets, I mean, they've gotten to the point, you just run the football to try to keep some rhythm in the game, to let the quarterback keep the defense somewhat honest. That's what you want to do. But that time, nobody even blocks John Mobley on the outside. Matt O'Dwyer, the right guard, pulling around. You got to pick up that first color of the opposite team and block them no matter where they're at. That's the line coach, Bill Muir, talking to Coach Parcells and trying to plead his case.
3rd and 11. The Jets 1 of 4 for 8 yards or more on 3rd down. Testaverde rolls, throws, and it is incomplete. Intended for Corbett. He had enough for the first down, but couldn't come up with the catch.
Well, it was a good throw, good try by the quarterback, Vinny Testaverde. Throw it down where only your guy can catch it. Wayne Corbett, zone defense, just find an open space. He does it. Tries to make the catch, but it goes between his arms.
And so John Kidd to kick to Darian Gordon. End over end, bounces at the 20. Gonna roll inside the 10. This will be pretty good for the New York Jets and their fans on hand, but a penalty marker is down. Way back upfield, where 54 Dwayne Gordon but it's going to be against the Broncos.
Holding, kicking team number 42 during the kick, half the distance to the goal.
That's Marcus Coleman.
Number 42. Denver keeps the ball, first down.
So it'll be first down, and the Broncos will be very deep in their own territory when we come back.
CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars. And by the NASDAQ MX Market Group, the market of markets.
Once again, our aerial coverage being provided today by Southwest Airlines. 12:29 to play, third quarter. The Broncos to start from their own 2-yard line.
That must be fun up in that blimp on a windy day. Yeah, that's just what I like to do. Get blown around.
That's why we're mighty appreciative. First down, play action, Elway throws, and another one deflected at the line of scrimmage. The fourth one today, and this one again from Mo Lewis.
Well, Mo Lewis, he's like Bill Romanowski for the New York Jets. He is everywhere, knocking down passes. Number 57 gets away from Terrell Davis, gets up. And the New York Jets, we said it earlier, they do not rush the passer. They're not great at it, but they do knock a lot of passes down by being smart, waiting for the quarterback to commit, then raise your arms.
Second down, quick drop, quick throw, incomplete. McCaffrey had it and lost it.
Either that ball was tipped or he couldn't see because of the sunlight. Look, you just could, that right there, you could see Ed McCaffrey coming across, and you could see the sunlight on his face. The ball is not tipped. Oh, yes, absolutely. He lost that ball completely in the sun. He is blinded after it hits him. He has no idea where it is. And there's the spot he tried to catch the football. Tough job for Ed McCaffrey.
3rd and 10. McCaffrey in motion. Elway pulls it down. Now throws complete to Dwayne Carswell. And Carswell pulled down short of the 10-yard line. That will be not enough for a first down. And the Broncos will have to kick it out of their own end zone.
Greg, something I didn't expect to see today. I thought John Elway would have all day to throw the football. But the Jets, not that they're sacking him or hitting him, but they're moving the offensive lineman back. They're getting in his face. He's having a hard time looking down the field and throwing the ball accurately.
We talk about stopping the Broncos and stopping Terrell Davis, but the 2 games, the regular season games the Broncos lost, it was John Elway who really had pretty tough games throwing the football. Jets will take over deep in Denver territory. Blake Spence, number 82.
Well, they had one blocked earlier in the day, and it was a good job by Glenn Contreras stopping it. And this time, Blake Spence. Let's see where he comes from. The Broncos again miss it. Blake Spence coming untouched. They get confused. The Jets put a lot of people down inside. They leave the backup tight end free, comes through and does a good job of not going too far and blocking the punt.
Tight ends converge. Blake Spence blocked it, the rookie out of Oregon. 6th-year tight end Fred Baxter recovered. And the Jets with the ball at the 1.5 yard line. 1st and goal. Curtis Martin. Touchdown.
And Greg, the one thing I noticed right there that time was when Vinny Testaverde was underneath the center on the half-yard line, because of the pace of play today and what we're watching, no crowd noise. And that's usually where it's the worst, coming out of the end zone or going into it. Communication was not a problem for the New York Jets.
Curtis Martin with 8 rushing touchdowns on the season and 1 through the air, goes the half yard into the end zone. Hall out of Kidd's Hole is good. Talk about turnovers in playoff games being critical. The blocked punt leads to the Jet touchdown and a 10-0 lead. A rookie out of Oregon comes up with the biggest play of this game so far. The blocked punt, which gave the Jets the ball at the half-yard line, and Curtis Martin converted. 10-0 Jets. Vaughn Hepburn to the 20, to 30, across the 35 and out to the 36. Let's go back to the touchdown.
Risky play for the New York Jets. Trevor Price almost tackles Curtis Martin in the end zone for about a 3-4 yard loss, but he makes a good run, and Kevin Mawai, the center, number 68, in the middle, gets Keith Traylor. Tough block, gets him down to the ground, and he knows it's a touchdown.
Meanwhile, Jets fans will find that a familiar sight. Well, maybe not the hug, but certainly Fireman Ed.
Yeah, he won't be doing that here in this stadium.
Elway sending his receivers back from whence they came. Play fake. All kinds of time. Going long, McCaffrey. Inside the 20 to the Jets' 16-yard line.
The New York Jets blow the coverage. They have it. They have the perfect coverage. The safety, watch this come across, the safety come up. Then Ed McCaffrey gets behind it. Here he comes up. Ed McCaffrey goes behind. John Elway sees it. Big passing play. Boy, and Ed McCaffrey does a good job of making sure of the catch when you're wide open.
Terrell Davis, left side. He's what you call running downhill.
Greg, that's exactly what I thought. That was running downhill, and it was out of control, too. Victor Green, number 21. Watch Terrell Davis. I mean, when he turns it up, here he comes. Victor Green, number 21, just got enough on him to bring him down.
Neil Smith, you betcha. Neil Smith had a 79-yard return of a fumble for a touchdown against the Dolphins last week. On 2nd down. All kinds of time. Elway throws. Touchdown. Howard Griffith.
Well, all of a sudden, John Elway has found out how to throw this football. This is throwing it in some tight quarters, puts a lot of heat on it. Corbin Brown, number 44, saw the play, but because of the speed of the throw, couldn't get there in time to make the play.
Elam for the extra point. And it's good. The Jet lead is down to 3. Did you really think on his final appearance at Mile High Stadium you'd hold number 7 down for long?
CBS is sponsored by First Union, your guide to the financial world, and by Staples, the office superstore.
Back at Mile High Stadium, the Broncos set to kick it away. Quick drive of 64 yards gets Denver right back into the game. Short kick. It's bouncing back. Loose ball. it has it. This will be big.
The wind held it up right from the start.
The Broncos have it. It took a Denver bounce, and the Broncos were there when it came down.
What happened is Jason Elam went to kick the ball hard, and he got underneath it. The ball was spinning really hard, harder than normal, and it made it stay up in the air longer. And it lands about 20 to 25 yards short of where it usually would go.
When all is said and done, number 56, Keith Burns, comes up with the ball. The Broncos now first down at the Jet 31. Davis inside the 30 to about the 27. The turnaround for the Broncos came after the Jet touchdown. Vaughn Hebron's kickoff return had an excellent field position. Then the long pass to McCaffrey, a little change of pace run for Terrell Davis, and then the touchdown pass to Griffin.
You remember the long throw that we saw with the Denver Broncos? The Jets had two safeties back there all day long in passing situations. They've had one and the other one inside. They changed up. The Broncos guessed right. That gave them a big play.
Davis to the right side. Penalty marker flies. This will be a holding call against the Broncos. As I watched the hold develop, Ed Hockley was searching his back pocket for the penalty marker.
Well, he couldn't get his hands on that flag. He was searching and searching.
Offense number 89, 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
It's the tight end, Dwayne Carswell.
It's on. He's blocking Mo Lewis. Number 57, number 89, Dwayne Carswell. Mo Lewis trying to go up the field. Look at that grip. And when you see, well, you can see the jersey being pulled. But when the defender gets turned, when they turn him, then you know the only way you can do that is you have to have a grip of that jersey.
Now that's a hold.
That was a good one.
It's a strong one.
It was worth 10.
Both teams penalized 4 times for about the same amount of yardage. 2nd and 15. Derek Lavelle is in the backfield for Denver. And he takes the pass and drops it.
Well, that was a good example that time, Greg. Finesse throws a little hard right now in this wind. If you want to have some success throwing the football, just get back there and use some power.
By our count, that is 5 Denver dropped passes today. Third and long, and with 8 or more yards to go, the Broncos have come up empty in 3 tries today. 9:05 to play, third quarter. Elway with time over the middle, complete. Rod Smith made the catch. 10-yard pickup, and that's short of a first down, and onto the field comes Jason Elam.
But it's enough yards to bring the field goal kicker on the field. If they wouldn't have picked up any positive yards there, I think Mike Shanahan would have punted the football because the wind, it looked like it was going to die down, but now it's extremely gusty on the field. It's blowing my hair up here in the booth.
This will be a 44-yard field goal attempt. The flags are still atop the uprights right now. The place down, the kick, it's straight enough, it is long enough, and it's good. Keith Burns recovered the errant kickoff, and we now have a 10-10 tie. Broncos with the 44-yard field goal by that man pull into a 10-10 tie. 8:23 to play in the third. Dave Meggett, one of the deep men. Meggett at the 1. And not much further than the 15-yard line. Keith Burns, who recovered the kickoff last time, makes the tackle. Was it a big field goal for the Broncos in their state of mind? Watch Jason Elam from 44 yards out. Yeah. And Mike Shanahan been down 10 points, and all of a sudden, his guys are even at 10. First and 10, Jets, their own 17. Here comes the crowd.
Now the crowd is back into it.
This will not count. Penalty marker on the play. And this will be a false start against the Jets, it would appear.
Before the ball was snapped, false start, offense number 76. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Jumbo Elliott. You know, I saw one of the players getting feisty down there is Kevin Mawai. He's a feisty kind of guy. We had a chat with him yesterday.
Well, I'd be feisty too if I was 6'4" and 305. You know, but what has happened with Kevin Mawai and this offensive line? He has settled it down. He's a terrific player, one of the best centers in the league, and he's a leader. So he's held them together.
First and 15. Quick pass, Keyshawn Johnson tries to turn it upfield, but he is tackled on the play by Ray Crockett, number 39.
Greg, I said it earlier, the one thing that you got to be impressed with the last 2 weeks, when we've watched this Bronco defense, people always have a tendency to say they can be taken advantage of, but terrific tackling down the field. Keyshawn Johnson, tough to bring down, but when these receivers are catching it, the defenders are bringing them down right away, no extra yards.
Pick up a 5 on the play. They're back to the original line of scrimmage. It's 2nd and 10. On the draw. Not much there from Martin, maybe a yard.
Did you see how long it took Vinny Testaverde to snap that football? What they were doing, spread them out. They spread the defense out, and if the defense spreads with you, then they have a running play.
Vinny Testaverde checking his wristband. He has every offensive play in the game plan for today on that list.
And that is 105 plays written on that list. Greg, if you tried to read that, you need binoculars.
Need them anyway.
Yeah.
3rd and 9. Quick pass. Dedrick Ward out across the 20, a pickup of about 4. That's not enough for a first down. Alfred Williams made the stop.
Defensive line, that's the key for the Denver Broncos. They move around. They stop the running game. They've done that today. And that time the screenplay is set up. It's going to pick up a first down, but Alfred Williams gets off the pass rush, turns around, and makes the tackle before the first down.
John Kidd. Darian Gordon from the 33. Knocked out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. 45-yard punt, 11-yard return. And now the Broncos go back to work on offense, and that means number 7. Talking to Gary Kubiak, who it appears headed to the University of Colorado as their head coach.
That's what we hear. Gary Kubiak, the offensive coordinator, helps Mike Shanahan with the offense. Been rumored to take the University of Colorado job as early as tomorrow. Came in the league the same year with John Elway. Drafted the same year, roommates. Now he's coaching him, helped coordinate the offense, and he's done a terrific job.
Meanwhile, here is the mile-high hero as he takes over with a tie game, play action. Pepper Johnson chasing him, and Elway throws it away. On the Jets sideline, a few words. A breather for the offensive line. There's Kevin Mawai, number 68.
You know, the one thing I like about the Denver Broncos when I watch their football team, especially on offense, when you got a good running game, and we talked with Mike Shanahan about this on yesterday morning, when they fake the run, when John Elway drops back and moves, they're looking for some yards. None of that 5 and 10 yard stuff. They want some 20 and 30 yard gashers.
Straight drop. Elway throws near sideline, complete. Rod Smith has enough for the first down.
Well, the Denver Broncos are now starting to take advantage of the things the Jets wanted to make them do, and that's throw the football outside. Take away the middle. Ray Mickens a little late on the coverage, but he plays it smart. Don't give up the big play, and then try to react to the throw underneath. And Rod Smith does a good job. He has progressed so much as a football player, as a wide receiver, where he's one of the top 15 wide receivers in the league.
Davis to the 40. And after a shaky first half, John Elway appears to have found some rhythm to his passing game.
Well, it takes that one big play sometimes to get a quarterback going. But, you know, Greg, talking about Rod Smith, we talked about him with him a couple weeks ago. And remember what he said? What the Missouri Southern had 3 majors when he was in college. And let's see if I can remember what they were. Economics, marketing, and business. And he said, you know, I was kind of a nerd in college. And I said, boy, don't apologize for 3 majors.
Terrell Davis to the Jet 20-yard line. "20 yards, a burst that puts him over the 100-yard mark here today.
The Denver Broncos have been going outside with Terrell Davis, and this time they fake the pass. It's a draw play. The defense just hesitates for a second, and he gets through there. And watch Tom Nalen. Oh, and Dan Neal, good job. Tom Nalen coming off of 1 block and then picking up Brian Cox with the 2nd block.
Davis again. Inside the 20. Where we talked about Davis's patience as a runner, he took a little hop and a skip prior to his 20-yard burst. 115 yards on the day. The 13th time this season he's up over 100 yards rushing. And 6 consecutive 100-yard games in the postseason. Ties in with John Riggins.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, if you hold this guy, if you hold Terrell Davis, you keep him under 120 now.
Elway going to throw it. All in the middle. Incomplete. Shannon Sharp hit at the goal line by Corwin Brown. And both players are still down. And a pretty heavy-duty collision seems to have taken its toll on both players.
Well, the safety's in the middle. John Elway trying to stick it in there before the safety can make the play. Good effort by Shannon Sharp. And Corwin Brown, number 44, does the right thing. He does not lead with the helmet. He comes in, hits him with the shoulder.
You see the hit delivered by Corwin Brown, and number 21, Victor Green, running right along with Shannon Sharp, told us last night that he works out with Shannon during the offseason.
They work out down at Grady High School in Atlanta during the offseason, and that shows a lot of courage, toughness, and smartness by Corwin Brown going in there and doing the tackle the proper way.
Shannon Sharp walking off to this side of the field. Corwin Brown reaches the sideline at the other side of the field. 42, Marcus Coleman has come on to the field now for the Jets. And Dwayne Carswell, number 86, or make it Byron Chamberlain, number 86, will go on to the field for Denver. John Elway, the turnaround has been a little bit, although he's only 5 of 12 here in the second half. He has thrown the ball much better.
And they're throwing it down the field, Greg. When you throw it down the field, you're not going to hit as high a percentage. And that's one of the reasons why he's only 5 of 12.
3rd and 9. Elway. And now has to eat it and falls at the 30-yard line. 2nd sack of the day for the Jet defense. Chad Cascadden, Brian Cox converged.
Most teams, this would take you out of field goal range. But with Jason Elam, you see Mike Shanahan laughing. How can he get mad? John Elway has made hundreds of plays, buying time, moving around. And that time, the Jets just do a good job of covering the receivers down the field.
Elam was good from 44 yards out. This one is a 48-yard attempt. On the way, and it is good. Jason Elam hit 58 of 58 extra point attempts during the regular season, 23 of 27 field goals, including one from 63 yards. This is just a little old 48-yarder in the wind.
Just a 48-yarder with wind blowing across. We don't know where it's going. and he just hammers his football, and he played to win. It went right to left.
And on the sideline, Mike Shanahan watching, urging. And for the first time today, Shanahan and the Broncos are in the lead at 13-10. In fact, the Broncos have scored 13 unanswered points as Thunder takes a ride. Vinny Testaverde now getting ready to go back to work as soon as the Jets reacquire possession. 2:58 to play here in the third quarter.
Well, Denver, we're getting the first quarter assault. We're getting in the third quarter. And what we're also seeing, the New York Jets really withstood a series of events there. They could have blown them out of the football game, but they hung in there, and they're only down 13-10.
Kevin Williams, Dave Meggett, deep. Another short kick. It's going to bounce. Meggett, 25. And it's down at the 25-yard line. Or the 20, make it. While we have a moment, let's remind you, tonight on CBS, what do many military wives have in common? They're victims of domestic violence that's running rampant on military bases. 60 Minutes tonight, followed by Touched by an Angel. Then Academy Award winner Susan Sarandon and Sean Penn star in the CBS Sunday night movie Dead Man Walking. That's all tonight on CBS, America's most watched network.
What we have seen the last few series from the New York Jets, the inability to run the football is just putting too much pressure on the quarterbacks and the receivers, and now the rush is starting to get to Vinny Testaverde.
Time to throw down the middle. Johnson incomplete. Terrific coverage by Darian Gordon, number 21.
Darian Gordon is all over Keyshawn Johnson. The Denver Broncos have done a good job of taking Keyshawn Johnson out of the passing game down the field. Perfect throw by Vinny Testaverde, but even if Keyshawn Johnson catches it, he is going to take a big hit. And Darian Gordon done a good job of covering and a good job of tackling so far today.
You talked about the inability to run the ball. Look at the Jets' total yardage here in the second half, 19. But the Jets have run the ball just 11 times today. Not much there. Marvin Washington leading the charge on Curtis Martin.
And Greg, what we're seeing, and it's, we said it earlier, it's hard to believe it, but this is a finesse offense. And they like to move their offensive linemen to get angles to create easy blocks for them. And when you're playing a defensive front that moves around and is athletic, they don't stand still. It makes it hard, and that's why Curtis Martin, he can't get back to the line of scrimmage.
Average yards to go on third down. The Jets have had longer yardage to deal with than the Broncos. 3rd and 8. Keyshawn Johnson incomplete, wants a penalty flag. There is none forthcoming. Johnson appeared to be bumped before the ball got there.
Keyshawn Johnson, top of the screen. Here he comes inside. 3rd and 8. The defender, Darius Johnson, absolutely gets there before the football is thrown. It does not give Keyshawn Johnson a chance to catch the football. Should have been a penalty.
It is not. Kidd will kick. And a decent kick. Darian Gordon from the 26. Cuts it outside. Midfield. 40. Inside the Jet 40 to the 37-yard line. 50-yard punt, 36-yard return.
Terrific job of selling a return. He went inside, he stayed inside, and at the last second, he broke around the left corner. Watch Darian Gordon. Gonna go up, here he is, and he waits. Did you see that? He waits to the last second to break it out. That enables him to get outside the coverage and pick up all those yards.
Kidd helping out with the tackle, but now Elway goes to work first down at the Jet 38-yard line. 1:42 to play in the third. Davis to the 35 to the 34-yard line.
But Greg, the wind has been swirling, so I have a hard time. Sometimes I look up, it looks like it's behind the Broncos, but right now it's somewhat, it looks like it's behind them right now. 1:24 to go in the quarter. I would try to watch my play call, and in case I have to kick a field goal, I could use the wind.
Field position has been terrific. for the Broncos. On their last 3 drives, they've begun at the Jet 31, at their own 44, and this one at the Jet 38. The toss. Davis to the 30. Mo Lewis, Anthony Pleasant with the tackle.
Greg, if you made me pick an outstanding player in a game, I think it'd have to be Mo Lewis. I mean, he has been terrific in rushing the quarterback, knocking passes down, and stopping the run. Again, outside, makes Terrell Davis cut inside and then reaches out with his left arm and makes the tackle.
Fighting off the block from Tony Jones. Clock continues to move. We come up on half a minute to play here in the third quarter. 3rd and 3. The CBS first down line shows you how far the Broncos need to go for a first down. Davis. First down and more. 15, 10, touchdown. Yards for Terrell Davis.
First time all day we've seen Terrell Davis take the pitch, go outside, and cut it back up inside and have that big gaping hole where he can break off that long run.
Terrell Davis is averaging 6.7 yards a carry today.
Watch how long he goes vertical, and then the longer he gets and goes this way, when he cuts up, look at the hole. Pepper Johnson, Ernie Logan over pursue, and then it's hard to tackle Terrell Davis one-on-one down the field after he breaks the line of scrimmage. Tom Nalen, number 66, what a block by him. The center. Bill Belichick, the defensive coordinator, told me when we were talking about this game, the key to their run game, especially when Terrell Davis cuts back, is the center, Tom Nalen, staying on his blocks and pushing the defender past the hole.
The Denver Broncos, a frustrated offense in the first half. They have broken through, scoring on 4 consecutive drives and scoring 20 points here in the third quarter.
As we watch this, it's almost hard to believe now that they were shut out in the first half.
This will not be run out of the end zone by Dave Meggett, and so the Jets will get it started 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. And Bill Parcells and Vinny Testaverde will try to figure out how to recapture some of that momentum, which has definitely gone over now to the Denver Broncos.
Well, I'll tell you something they're not going to find on that sheet. That's a running play that's going to work. I mean, so far today, how many times we've seen Curtis Martin even get a chance to find a hole to run up in there and get some positive yards? So what you have to do if you're the New York Jets, you've got to complete some passes, get Denver's defense off guard a little, and then sneak a running play in there.
Testaverde throws complete for Beck. First down yardage across the 30, and that will bring the quarter to an end. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Broncos 20 and the Jets 10. We're coming back after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, and that man's final 15 minutes of a great career at Mile High Stadium. Miami in Super Bowl 33, the AFC Championship game. We begin quarter number 4. 1st and 10 for the Jets from their own 31. Testaverde throwing sideline, incomplete, almost intercepted by Steve Atwater.
Vinny Testaverde gets away with one here. Steve Atwater did not go for the look off to the left. He has a chance to intercept it. Doesn't quite come up with the catch. Been a player, done it for a long time, big hitter, and you remember early in the year, Mike Shanahan was taking him out in some situations and resting him. Steve Atwater was a little upset about it. Mike Shanahan says, well, maybe that's one of the reasons why I did it. I want to give him some stimulation, make him play a little harder.
Testaverde. Screen to Keyshawn Johnson. Can't get free and is dragged down short of the 30-yard line by John Mobley. Loss of 2 yards on the play.
Mike Shanahan was telling us yesterday he thinks the New York Jets are the best team in professional football when it comes to throwing screens. This time it's to a wide receiver, Keyshawn Johnson, but a good job. Keith Traylor makes Keyshawn Johnson stay in the backfield, make a move, takes too long.
We asked him about, well, how many screens do you think they have? He said a lot.
A lot. The Jets apparently for this game have up to 12 screens ready, but none of them have really worked today.
Testaverde with time, over the middle, Johnson midfield and more. At the 46-yard line of the Denver Broncos. Ray Crockett helping out on the stop, but that's enough for a Jet first down.
This is something the Jets need to do a little more of, is go down the field. When you throw down the field on the Denver Broncos, it just creates more space for the wide receivers. It spreads the defense, and look how wide open Keyshawn Johnson is down the middle.
So now the Jets get a little bit of momentum back. At the Denver 46, first down, 13.5 minutes still to play. Testaverde over the middle, complete, inside the 30, loose football. Romanowski falls on it. First down, Denver. The Jets turn it over for the 4th time today. You just can't do that in the postseason.
Well, and sometimes there's no reason to turn the football over, but it comes from this. Look at the middle again, wide open. But we talked about it, Alex Van Dyke inside. Look at the hit by Steve Atwater. We said this Denver Bronco team, especially over the last 2 weeks, they've been making good tackles, hitting people down the field. Bill Romanowski hustling, picks up the loose ball.
First down to the 28. The turnover story heavily favors the Broncos. Terrell Davis. Now, penalty marker flies in the backfield. And it's going to be a hold on the Broncos. This is the time of the day, and Romo's pretty happy about how things are going. This is the time of day. We talked earlier how Terrell Davis runs so well.
Holding. Offense number 29. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
In the first quarter, his second best quarter of the day is the fourth quarter. And on the field, looks like it might be Corwin Brown. We'll check it out when we come back. If the Jets are going to make this a serious contest, they're going to have to make a stand sometime soon here. Clock moving with 13:05 to play in the fourth. The Broncos 50-50 between the run and the pass. Elway throw. Throws far side. Rod Smith out of bounds across the 30 to about the 32-33 yard line. 15-yard pickup. Bill Parcells has had his share of worries and a concern. Turnovers early on. Curtis Martin, the fumble, recovered by the Broncos. And then Keith Byers lost the ball. Then an errant kickoff was mishandled by the Jets, and then Alex Van Dyke losing it there. The hit by Atwater, the recover by Romanowski. Terrell Davis. First down yardage.
Well, the mark of a really good running football team. Look what Terrell Davis has done so far this year, including the playoffs. The highest ever in the NFL. But you know you can run the football when you can run it well. And that means in situations like this, right now, you want to run the ball. Of course, you want to score. You want to eat time. All those things. now you'll see what the Denver Broncos, how good a running football team they are.
Down the stretch of this season and into the playoffs, we made it a habit of asking players how you feel. And we say they're a little tired. That kind of rush total, it's no wonder Terrell Davis is a little winded. Elway throws, has his man over the middle at midfield. It's Ron Chamberlain, the tight end. Byron Chamberlain has a 17-yard pickup, and that's another Denver first down.
Probably the first time all day on a play-action pass that the New York Jets defense got out of position and left somebody uncovered. They gave up a long one. That's just because they went for the wrong guy. But this time they were fooled by the run fake. Byron Chamberlain coming across. Look at him. Nobody on him. John Elway sees him. He does a really good job of slowing down, not running the defense, and then catching the ball.
From the 45, Davis. And Brian Cox meets him head on at the line of scrimmage. No gain. What a turnaround by this Broncos team from the first half. Denver was shut out in the first half of a football game for the first time since September of 1993 in a game at Kansas City.
And as you watch Terrell Davis run that football, don't think he's going to fumble it. Because what did he tell us? He goes, I have a pre-snap routine. And there's two things I think of. Squeeze the ball hard and then run hard. And those two things, and that's one of the reasons why he puts two hands on it almost every single time when he runs into the tackles.
Play fake. Elway down the sideline. Incomplete. Rod Smith, the intended receiver. Otis Smith was there stride for stride.
Greg, we talked about in the first half, the New York Jets usually make you throw the football in the middle of the field, but since the Broncos like that so much, they changed their coverages. They're making them throw it outside. The Broncos have done a good job of adjusting, trying to throw it down the field. A few plays early, they hit Rod Smith on the outcut. They figured it out. Mike Shanahan, he knows how to make a few adjustments and call different plays to give his offense the best chance to make plays.
8 or more yards to go, 1 out of 5 on third down conversions. Elway looks at one now, steps up, rolling, and is pulled down behind the line of scrimmage. Another sack for the Jet defense. James Farrier comes up with it. That's the third of the day for the Jets.
When John Elway breaks the pocket, what do you think? Watch out.
Another running back on the field.
Well, and here comes the ball down the field, a big pass play, but the Jets have stayed with the receivers and done a good job of covering them once John Elway breaks containment.
High snap, Ruin pulls it down and gets it away. Great job by the Denver punter. Look at the bounce he gets. Inside the 10, down to the 5-yard line. 42-yard punt, and Tom Ruin gets some well-deserved congratulations. 9:56 to play here in regulation.
Yes, is sponsored by Ford Taurus. Ford, built to last. United Airlines, rising is a daily commitment to making flying more civilized. United is rising. And by IBM, are you ready for e-business?
A gorgeous mile-high sunset in progress. The Jets starting from their own 6, 299 total yards for each team, but a 10-point difference on the scoreboard. Testaverde going to go down the middle. It's blocked down. Locked down on the way by John Mobley, number 51. We remind you, tonight on 60 Minutes, what do many military wives have in common? They're victims of domestic violence running rampant on military bases. 60 Minutes tonight here on CBS, America's most watched network. Those of you tuning in looking for 60 Minutes, you're watching the AFC Championship game. And 60 Minutes will follow our post-game report. Second and 10. Testaverde, this side, complete. And that's enough for a first down to Dedrick Ward. We've always talked about the strength of Vinny Testaverde's arm. That's a pretty good throw.
Well, watch the Denver Broncos. They're going to double team the backside receiver. That time they had somebody looking for that deep end cut. But the New York Jets do a good job of changing up. And Dedrick Ward goes down, fakes in, breaks back out. Nobody there to cover him. They're expecting that backside in cut that they hit a couple times.
First down now from their own 20. Testaverde going to go down the sideline and way overthrowing his intended receiver, Dedrick Ward.
Early in the game, receivers were open for the New York Jets. In fact, there was more than one open every single play. But what has happened, since you cannot run the football and there's no threat of running the football, it becomes easier for the secondary to cover. Greg Robinson's going, well, let's don't worry about the run. I'm just calling defenses that are going to stop the pass. And now what you're doing, safeties, they don't worry about coming up and stopping Curtis Martin. They're looking for receivers to hit over the middle.
Jets 12 carries for those 13 yards rushing. Testaverde has all kinds of time and now throws it out in the flat. Kyle Brady, and Brady to about the 28-yard line. Romanowski and Crockett there to make the tackle. It'll be about 2 yards for a first down.
When you catch passes like that, know where you're at on the football field. Try to get the first down, because the Jets, they've shown these third down situations. They've missed a couple short ones today, and it's probably still too early in the game to go for it on fourth down.
CBS first down line shows you how far the Jets have to go. 0 for 1 in this situation. Martin is not going to get there.
They could go for this. 8:26 to go. You're 2 scores down. Nope, Bill Parcells
sends his punting unit onto the field.
That's why those catches, when the receivers are getting them out in the flats, it's important to go forward and get that extra yard. Keyshawn Johnson did it early in the game. Kyle Brady did it this past time.
Darian Gordon is deep. Good kick by John Kidd. Gordon from the 18. Trying to escape tacklers and can't do it. He's back inside his own 20-yard line. James Ferrier down there for the tackle. 53-yard punt and no return. 7:46. Guess what? John Elway back on the field. Along with Phil Simms, Armin Katayan, Bonnie Bernstein, Greg Gumbel back at Mile High Stadium. 60 minutes to follow this AFC Championship game and the post-game report. Whistles blow. This will not count. Although Davis takes the takedown anyway.
It's a 2-possession game now.
Before the snap, false start, offense, number 80, 5-yard penalty, it's still first down.
That's Rod Smith, the wide receiver.
Well, he saw the blitz by Otis Smith, and it scared him, trying to block him or whatever, so it made him move before the snap. But we're down to a 2-possession game. That's why Bill Parcells probably hesitated before he punted the football, because now he knows at best we're going to get 2 more chances. We'll have to score on both to get a chance to win or tie the game.
Davis held up at the 15-yard line. Terrell Davis has been every bit a workhorse.
Well, he has, and he has been the last couple years, really kind of helping out John Elway. He has prolonged John Elway's career, and the fact that Elway has been more productive and it's been easier for him the last couple years because they have such a well-rounded offense. Terrell running, and then when it calls for him to throw, they're able to protect him a little longer, make it easier on him.
It has been pretty well accepted here in Denver that this is Elway's last go-round. Talk about a rushing game. The Broncos do have that. Elway to throw. With time. Chamberlain. Pickup of 10 on the play. Getting back to John Elway, you know, you'd sit there and you talk with him as we did on Friday, and he's very relaxed. He's had himself another terrific season. You get the feeling that he could go on if he chose to do so.
I don't. I really don't get that feeling. I know he's relaxed. I think a lot of the reasons why.
I'm talking physically.
Physically, no. You know, I think last year I said he could. Right now, I think he's taken a lot of punishment. I can see it in his body. I hear it in his words. It's been a long career. He plays hard, throwing it, running it, and it is time for him to get out.
Elway waits for McCaffrey to make his break outside and hits him across the 35, and that'll be another first down for the Broncos.
But, Greg, when we're talking about John Elway, but that's what I sense in him. Just the relief that it's coming to an end. He knows it. Of course, he looks forward to these games. but finally he can kind of let down and just really enjoy what's happening and not worry about next week, this offseason. Well, will I come back? All those things. He knows this is going to be it.
All right, well then let me take you back to a statement you made earlier this season where you said, you know, if you're quarterbacking a Mike Shanahan offense, you can just about play forever.
Well, you're right. I did say that, but he has taken some hits.
Davis, make it Derek Lavelle. Derek Lavelle in the game now and running the football.
What has changed? He's taken some injuries. Doesn't come back like he used to, but look at all these numbers from Elway. Second in completion, second in yards, third
in touchdown passes, and then 148 career wins.
Yeah, the most important thing, leads that win department. But talking about, we were talking, I asked John Elway that. A quarterback usually dies inside before outside. You just get tired of the grind, tired of preparing, worried about the wins and losses.
Down the side, McCaffrey incomplete. He was in hand-to-hand combat with Marcus Coleman.
But you get tired of it, just the mental grind, and so you finally just say, I can't take any more. Watch Ed McCaffrey singled up on the outside. 6'5". This is what they like to do. Look at the hand fighting going on, but the wind just takes the ball too far.
Ed McCaffrey, former teammate of yours.
Yeah, big Ed.
In fact, we talked with Bill Parcells last night. He said, yeah, you drafted him. And Bill said, yes, but I wasn't around to see him play.
Well, he was a good player for the New York Giants. Most people didn't want him to go. He's turned out to be a terrific player for the Broncos.
Third down. Elway pulls it down, buys himself some time, and throws it away. And so the Jets will get a chance to get the ball back now with just over 5 minutes to play in regulation, and they trail by 10. There's another ex-teammate of yours.
Jumbo Elliott, left tackle for the Jets.
Why is everybody still playing and you're not?
Well, that's a good question. Lack of talent. Of course, I'm old enough to be Jumbo's daddy. That might have something to do with it too, Smarty.
Dave Meggett is deep. End over end, bounces at the 25. Meggett will stay away from this one. It takes a Bronco bounce inside the 15 to the 12 or 13-yard line, and the Jets will start deep in their own end territory again with 4:51 to play.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light. Make it a Bud Light. And by American Express. American Express helps you do more.
The terrific coverage of today's game from the air is provided by Southwest Airlines, and it has been spectacular. 4:51 to play in regulation. Jets start from their own 13-yard line. Testaverde down the middle, receiver fell down, intercepted. Darian Gordon, the 20. And that may just wrap things up for the Denver Broncos.
Wayne Corbett was the receiver going down the middle. He slips and falls, it looks like, as he's trying to make the cut. Number 80, little fake outside, going inside. Vinny Testaverde anticipating the throw, does not see him fall down. Watch as he looks down the field. Wayne Corbett would have been right there, except he fell down.
Gordon was the leader for the Broncos with 4 interceptions this year.
Now the Jet defense once again must come through. They got to try to stop him, make him kick a field goal, so 2 touchdowns can still win you the game.
Terrell Davis, not much there.
Now the
clock
Jets
moves now under 4.5 minutes to play.
What you got to do, manage the clock. You got to decide when you're going to call these timeouts. Of course, Denver's going to run it all the way down. The New York Jets, all 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. So there still is time.
Davis dancing to about the 15-yard line. And a timeout is called. That would be the first of the 3 that the Jets have, and it stops the clock with 3:47 to play here in the fourth quarter.
Well, Greg, we know the conditions have been tough for both teams, so that really talks about why it's been a lower scoring game. But also, we got to give credit to both sides. Both defenses they've come out and played tough, taken away the things the other offense likes to do, and both defenses have done a good job of tackling and hitting.
Meanwhile, a look at John Elway on the sideline. There you see Vinny Testaverde. But for John Elway and for these fans here at Mile High Stadium, this is truly the end of just a terrific era in the National Football League.
What a run. I mean, there's always going to be arguments about John Elway. Is he the greatest to ever play? Put him up there with a few other quarterbacks. Of course, one of them is Dan Marino, but physically, I think the best that's ever played when it comes to throwing and running and applying it to the football field.
The toss to Davis, tripped up, and he barely gets back. In fact, he lost a yard on the play, so Jason Elam will come onto the field. But Elway, I mean, is there a sane man with a vote who would not cast a first-round ballot for John Elway when he becomes eligible for the Hall of Fame?
Well, I hope not. Sometimes that voting's a little funny. You never know. But he's going in. It's just a question, will everybody vote for him, or will somebody hold out?
Meanwhile, the Jets burn their second timeout and stop the clock with 3:44 to play.
After watching this game, something that just popped in my mind that Mike Shanahan told us. To win the Super Bowl, the 3 things you got to do. Run the football, have a good, solid quarterback, and you got to play solid defense. The Broncos have shown that today. The Jets, no running game. That's been the difference.
Elam from 35 yards out is good. Elam has been good from 44, 48, and now 35 yards. And the Broncos' lead increases. We want to remind you tonight on CBS, what do many military wives have in common? They're victims of domestic violence running rampant on military bases. 60 Minutes tonight, followed by Touched by an Angel, and then Academy Award winner Susan Sarandon and Sean Penn star in the CBS Sunday night movie Dead Man Walking. That's coming up tonight on CBS, America's most watched network, following the conclusion of this game and our post-game report. Stay tuned, Jim Nantz and company. Jim's got enough for a football team over there all by himself.
Well, I had the chance yesterday, all of them around in the field, throwing the football around and running in that. They deserve to retire. They did the right thing. Couldn't catch, couldn't run.
Anyone in particular?
Well, just I don't want to pick them out.
No.
Brent Jones comes to mind, but But the Jets, what they have to do, get this football. They have 4 downs to pick up first downs, keep it moving. You still have 1 timeout, the 2-minute warning, and then you try to onside kick if you score to get that last possession to try to tie the game or to try to win the game.
Short kick picked off and returned across the 40-yard line by Bobby Hamilton, a third-year D lineman out of Southern Mississippi. 3 minutes, 32 seconds from Miami. That's what the Denver Broncos are looking for. Meanwhile, Vinny Testaverde, who has had such an outstanding season as the quarterback for the New York Jets.
And he came through today. Just look at the numbers there. He has thrown the football extremely well. He's made good decisions. Wayne Corbett fell down in the interception, but he gave his team a chance every time the opportunity was there to make the plays.
Far side, too short, incomplete, intended for Alex Van Dyke.
But Greg, we have said it, with no running game, all of a sudden it's amazing, isn't it, how good these defensive backs are getting, how they're covering better, how the pass rushers now, the defensive lineman can get to the quarterback.
And by the way, you just saw a shot there of Bill Parcells. Keep in mind, 2 seasons ago, these New York Jets were 1-15. That is a remarkable turnaround in anyone's book. 2nd and 10. This side, complete. Keyshawn Johnson out of bounds inside the 45. That's a first down for the Jets. 15 yards on the play. An AFC championship fact. The Jets, with just 14 yards today, are about to set a record that they would rather not.
Unless Vinny Testaverde takes off on a big scramble, which I doubt. He's looking for passing yards down the field.
Jets with one timeout and 3:22 on the clock. Screen. Megan pulled down. A pickup of about 2 on the play.
All everybody talked about before this playoffs, before they started, does Denver have a defense? Always when a team has great success, we heard it with Minnesota, the same with the Broncos, you got to pick out the weak spot, you pick on it. Was their defense good enough to get them through it?
Testaverde over the middle, popped into the air, picked off. Darian Gordon, midfield, 45. And penalty markers fly in the middle of that pile.
And Greg, what we have seen, this defense is good enough. It's proved it last week against Miami, this week against the Jets. They can not only keep you from scoring, they can stop some of your strong points.
Well, Bill Parcells told us last night, you can play defense with an attitude when you have an offense that...
over. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 62, 15-yard penalty. First down.
That penalty is on Todd Berger, but you can play defense with an attitude when you have an offense like the Denver Broncos.
And the Denver Broncos, they have a little attitude on defense. They play hard. They're very self-conscious. All the players push each other, and it's all reflected on the way they play the game. In fact, one coach even said, when you come out to play the Broncos, you look at the stats, you go, they're not that good, this defense. Then when you get here, the first thing you realize is that the defense plays at a frantic pace. It's a little unorthodox too, but they act like they're 14 points or 17 points ahead, and they have no worries the way they play defense.
Darian Gordon is still on his back at the 45-yard line. It appeared to be not on the return, but the victim of a hit after the play was over.
Yeah, Todd Berger, after the play was over, delivered a big hit on Darian Gordon, and I saw him just go over and sit down. It looked like to me Todd Berger went in and butted heads, and Darian Gordon was not even looking at him when he got hit.
Let's take another look.
Well, he gets up. Matt O'Dwyer, they get a little fight going on. There's Todd Berger coming in, so he hits him from the back.
And Gordon, his leg's still fine so far.
Yeah, I couldn't see where he got hurt.
But he is being helped off the field. Meanwhile, until today, Vinny Testaverde had not once this season had a game in which he threw more than one interception.
A lot of people will point to that too, Greg, and they'll be wrong when you look at that statistic. He did the right thing. They're down 10 points. They're down 13. You got to take a chance. You got to give your team a chance to win. So you throw it down in there, and you hope that one of your guys can come up with a big play. The Broncos did it.
6 turnovers in a playoff game will not get you a victory.
And only down 13 after 6 turnovers.
Davis ducks inside the 30-yard line. And the Jets call a timeout to stop the clock with 2:42 to play. That is their final timeout. Question now is, will Mike Shanahan send in Bubby Brister or Brian Greasy and let John Elway walk off to the cheers of a packed Mile High Stadium?
He will, but only when this game is secure completely. And it's not. They still got to kick this field goal, Greg. So many times it happens. I'll give you a good example. Last year, the New York Giants against the Minnesota Vikings in the playoffs, they had them beat. The Vikings score late, the onside kick. They recover it, they score again, the Giants lose. So always play it. Don't leave anything for chance. Play it till the end. But yes, Mike Shanahan would love to take out John Elway and let the crowd salute him one more time.
And you know, over the course of the season, we think we've heard some noise here at Mile High. It may not even begin to compare with what we would hear saluting John Elway as he walks off the field. Davis. And the Jets cannot stop the clock. And Elway takes the walk over here.
He's walking towards Mike Shanahan. We asked Mike Shanahan yesterday, what will your emotions be when John Elway walks over and for the last time in my Ohio Stadium with you? And he goes, hey, that's going to be pretty emotional for me too, because this guy, both of them together, have given the Denver Broncos 4 really good years.
The Elway-Shanahan relationship has been very unique and unlike any in coach-quarterback history. 2 minutes to play in the AFC Championship game. Denver on their way to Miami. The man in charge of the Denver Broncos, Pat Bowlen, with a bit of a smile on the sideline. And why not, as his Broncos are headed back to the Super Bowl.
Now, I noticed something here. It's a little different. I always thought Pat Bowlen always wore an orange tie, but I think, you know what has happened, the jerseys, it looks like they've changed the color of the jersey just a little. It looks like his tie changed too. Oh. You know, you got to be flexible.
Sure.
So he's shown that he is.
3rd and 7 for Elway and the Broncos. Davis looking for running room, doesn't have it. Pickup of a yard on the play. And tempers flare a bit.
Well, the last thing the Jets need to do is get another 15-yarder. And now I want to see what the Broncos are going to do. They'll run the clock down, I'm sure, to 1 second.
Clock continues to move, 1.5 minutes to play in regulation.
But I would think they want to kick the 15 points. Elway's going to walk over, wait till it gets down to 1 and call a timeout.
And that's exactly what happens. He stops the clock with 1.15 minutes to play.
Greg, you were talking about it earlier, the relationship, and I even said it to Mike Shanahan. Never, and Mike, I said, you might coach another 15 years or 20 or whatever. You will never have a relationship with a player or a quarterback like you've had with John Elway. He goes, absolutely no way. Because they were friends when he was the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach here before he went away to the San Francisco 49ers. He came back as a head coach. But the way why they can't happen again is because your quarterback has to have great talent, which John Elway has, and he knows no matter what happens that nobody can come in here and take John's job away from him.
John's numbers on the day, not his best performance, but he came out in the second half and turned this offense around when it needed it the most. Fourth and 6. And he'll lob to the end zone. McCaffrey, and he overthrew him. Would that be amazing if that is John Elway's last pass at Mile High Stadium?
Well, the Denver Broncos were not even going to take the chance of having a field goal blocked. So they do. They throw the ball into the end zone.
Here come the cheers for John Elway. I think John will admit he had him.
Well, hey, look, it's his last game. You think, oh, he'd be set. He's only worried about one thing. I had him open, and I missed him. And he's not going to forget that play either.
1:09, and the Jets can't stop the clock. Jets had a 10-0 lead early in the third quarter. Denver then scored 23 straight. Testaverde throws behind his man. It is incomplete. How about this? Denver headed to Miami to play the Atlanta Falcons, coached by Dan Reeves, who coached the Broncos from 1981 to 1992. He was 3 times the NFL Coach of the Year and took the Broncos to 3 Super Bowls himself.
Well, I think we might just hear a little bit about that this next 2 weeks, and we'll hear about a lot of things. Dan Reeves couldn't win it here with the Denver Broncos. Can he do it with the Atlanta Falcons against his old team?
Testaverde over the middle has Corbett, and Corbett down across the 35.
And of course the big story will be John Elway and Dan Reeves' relationship. You know, a lot of people thought that Elway said, you got to get him out of here. I got to have another coach, things like that. So we'll be hearing that for 2 straight weeks.
Another pass over the middle, and that is enough for a first down for the Jets as we come up on the final half minute.
But Greg,
of this AFC championship game.
I'm sorry. What we have seen, though, the Broncos are a well-rounded team, special teams. They run it, they can throw it, and their defense can play with speed and be aggressive and make the plays.
We are about to get a mile-high salute of the first order.
And Mike Shanahan's about ready to get wet.
Testaverde throws, incomplete. It's all over. The Broncos repeat as AFC champions, and they'll return to the Super Bowl. Become the first quarterback ever to start at that position in 5 Super Bowls, and he's making a mad dash for a corner of the end zone.
Well, he's going to take one last lap around this stadium. 16 years, not many careers, well, not any, have done what John Elway has done at one place.
You know, greatness is more than just the performance on the field, too. This man has become an integral part of this Denver community and will be for a long time. For Phil Simms, Armin Katayan, and Bonnie Bernstein, I'm Greg Gumbel. That's a wrap from Mile High Stadium. Once again, our final score, Denver 23 and the New York Jets 10. Stay tuned now for the American General postgame show. Jim Nance, Marcus Allen, Craig James, Brent Jones, Randy Cross will have the awarding of the AFC Championship trophy, and we will hear from Dan Reeves himself from the NFC Championship game. All of that is coming up shortly. John Elway getting all the platitudes and congratulations he so richly deserves as he winds up a sterling NFL career here at Mile High Stadium in Denver, and what a way to wrap it up. He's bringing the Broncos back to the Super Bowl. All coming up right after these messages. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.
Show is sponsored by the American General Financial Group. Live the life you've imagined.
Back at Mile High Stadium in Denver, welcome to the American General post-game show. The Denver Broncos repeat as AFC champions with a 23-10 win over the New York Jets. For the festivities and the ceremony on field, let's go down to Jim Nance. Jim.
Greg Gumbel, thank you. It has been an unbelievable day here at Mile High Stadium. These fans are just tremendous, and it's time to present the Lamar Hunt Trophy to the Denver Broncos. Harold Henderson is the Executive Vice President of the National Football League.
Pat, on behalf of the American Football Conference, it gives me great pleasure to present the Lamar Hunt Trophy, awarded annually to the AFC Championship team, to you, Coach Mike Shanahan, all the great Broncos, and the Broncos fans everywhere. It was a tremendous game, another come-from-behind victory led by the great John Elway. We wish the best of luck to the Broncos as they meet the Atlanta Falcons in Miami in Super Bowl 33 2 weeks from today. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. Mr. Bolin, I know that trophy feels awful good right now, the Lamar Hunt Trophy. And the Denver Broncos become the first AFC franchise to go to a Super Bowl 6 times.
And a lot of that's due to these people right out here. You know, when we go to Miami and we hopefully get the next trophy, it'll be for all these fans because they're the greatest.
Congratulations. Coach Shanahan, for the first time in your career here at Denver, you were shut out at halftime, but you made some remarkable adjustments in the second half. Tell us about it.
No, first of all, we beat a heck of a football team today. Very well coached. They played hard for 60 minutes. Our players stepped up. They made the plays. They're the ones right there. Look at them. Fantastic job, guys. And thank you, fans.
What turned it around for the Broncos? It seemed like the block punt was almost a wake-up call for your team. What was it?
Well, we had that win in the third quarter, which was to our advantage. And this team all the time, anytime we've been down, they've stepped up with adversity, and that's what they did tonight.
Mike, what about winning one more time here for John Elway? How much was that talked about in the locker room and on the sidelines?
Well, you know, it wasn't talked about a whole lot. But what has he meant to this organization, this town? 16 years, and we still haven't accomplished what we set out, but it's sure a good start.
You're going to hear this a lot in the next 2 weeks. You're going to be going against Dan Reeves, your former boss, in the Super Bowl, and it's a matter of public record. You were his former assistant, and it was a stormy relationship in the end, but what about going against Dan Reeves at the Super Bowl?
Well, I'll be honest with you, at times we were best friends. You know, he's just done an incredible job in Atlanta. Well coached, you're playing hard. It's going to be a great game. We're just happy to be there.
Mike, terrific job once more. Mike Shanahan going back to the Super Bowl. Let me bring in Terrell Davis. What turned it around here, Terrell?
I don't know. I think the team just came in and everybody made their mind up that, get together, everybody come together and just try to pull and do the things that we've been doing all year to win this game.
How about this guy to your left right now? How about winning one for John Elway today? What did that mean to this team?
It meant a lot. We didn't want John to go out on the sour note, so everybody pulled together, and it was special for him, so I'm happy for him.
All right. Well, what about the Atlanta Falcons?
Well, right now I'm just going to rest and enjoy this and then look at the film maybe sometime this week.
All right. John Elway. Hey, this is what you came back for. This is what it was all about. How satisfying is it right now for you, John?
Unbelievable. I mean, to come back and have the year that we had and to be able to play it here today and get the win, what a great feeling. And we're really looking forward to going back. And instead of winning this next one for me, we're going to win it for everybody here.
You will become the first quarterback to ever start in a Super Bowl 5 times. What does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, that just tells you so much about this organization and the fans and everything we're all about. And I'm just thrilled to death to be going back. And we know we're going to be facing a tough football team, so we're going to have to play better than we did today.
Was this your last game at Mile High Stadium?
I can't tell you that yet, but I tell you what, we're going to go out and try to win the next one.
How about one last message? If it is, in fact, your last time in a Denver uniform here at Mile High, how about one last message for all your fans here and around the country?
I love you!
Greg Gumbel, back to you.
The Denver Broncos snapped the 13-game NFC winning streak in the Super Bowl last year. They're looking to win 2 straight for the AFC. More on the American General Postgame Report in a moment.
Show is sponsored by the American General Financial Group. Live the life you've imagined.
Back at Mile High Stadium, and an emotional John Elway hoisting the Lamar Hunt Trophy, taking a victory lap around Mile High, and a bit exhausted from the entire afternoon, I'm sure. 60 Minutes is coming up next year on CBS. The Broncos were down 10-0 here, folks. They go on, though, to a 23-10 win over the Jets, and now it's all set for Miami, Atlanta, and Denver. Let's go down now to Bonnie Bernstein, standing by with Bill Parcells.
Bill, you had the Broncos scoreless at the half. Where did things start to unravel for you?
Well, I think the combination of turning the ball over 3 times across midfield, which limited our scoring opportunities. You know, I think if we could have put a little more distance between us, might have pressurized them where they, might have had to get away from some things. And then we had some special teams mistakes as well. So those 2 aspects of the game, I think, were really wound up hurting us.
If you think about it, just 2 seasons ago, your team was 1-15. What was your message to the team in the locker room after having this kind of a season?
Well, you can't pick up where you get left off, where you left off this year. You got to start where you started.
You've won 2 Super Bowls. There's been some talk about perhaps when you're going to retire. Are you back next year?
Yep.
He says he'll be back. A distraught Bill Parcells. Let's not forget, though, just 2 seasons ago when he took over, they had been 1-15. We'll be right back to Denver. To Denver. One of the great smiles, one of the great men in sports, John Elway. Well, his dream is going to be answered. He's going back to the Super Bowl. Broncos with a chance to defend down in Miami against the Atlanta Falcons. And folks, they've already established the Broncos as 8.5-point favorites. Would like to apologize to Dan Reeves. We were hoping to hear from the Atlanta Falcons coach, but due to the lateness of this game here tonight, we're not going to have a chance to visit with Coach Reeves. But what a day this has been at Mile High Stadium. We began almost 6 hours ago when John Elway trotted onto the field in the glare of the bright sun to seek one more championship in front of the fans who adored him now for the past 16 seasons. As night descended upon the Rockies, Bill Parcells' Jets were grounded by a Denver team that dominated the third quarter, scoring 20 points in a 10-minute stretch. Now John Elway has at least one more football game to play in Miami against Atlanta in Super Bowl 33. It has also been a long journey for our team at CBS Sports, waiting 5 years to return to the NFL, and how sweet it is to be back in the league. This has been quite a season, and on behalf of all of us here at CBS Sports, we thank you for sharing it with us. I'm Jim Nantz. Good night from Denver, Colorado.
The American General Financial Group, Live the Life You've Imagined, presents A Season to Remember.
Say touchdown, Deion Sanders. Touchdown, Cincinnati! This place is bedlam. It is bonkers. It is bananas. Feel the power. Hunter, touchdown! 63 yards. Holy mackerel. We're going all the way.
Call it plays in there.
Flag down in the end zone. Jamal Anderson, touchdown. Falcons. He's in. He did not get in. And the Giants have the lead. Only the 4th player to go over 2,000 yards. Good! The Cardinals are in the playoffs. He caught it. He caught it.
Here's the placement. The kick. High. End over end. It's gone, and the Falcons are going to the Super Bowl. Davis. Touchdown. Here come the cheers for John Elway.